Hello everybody. It's finally happened. It has finally happened. It's been a bit of a strange little waiting period there for the past hour or so, but Assetto Corsa Evo, or Evo, is finally installing. How's everyone getting on? Let us know where you're watching from. It's probably one of the most anticipated afternoons or days in sim racing for a long time, and the funny thing is, it's literally just an early access game. We're getting a little taste of what AC Evo is going to become in the next number of years. So there's not that many features. There's a number of things that this early access version will not have. So that's something to bear in mind. But despite all of that, of course, there's still a whole heap of excitement about what this game's going to bring, because we'll get our first flavour of how it's going to feel, how the handling's going to be, things like that. And obviously some of the features that are going to be in this version. So I'll see if I can bring up the chat so I can see what everyone's saying during the stream. This is also the first stream that we've done on Traxion in a long time. In fact, it might be the first live stream we've done since we returned earlier last year. So it's going to mark the start of a new era, I guess, at Traxion, because we are going to do more of these live streams. We're kicking it off with AC Evo Day 1, but the plan is to do much more of these as we go and make them more of a regular thing. I've got the stream set up here, so I feel like this is going to be something really enjoyable and we're looking forward to doing. Hello, everybody. Download speed is looking fine. We're on 8.9 gig out of 13 gig. So we're already more than halfway through. So in a few minutes, we should be good to go. And yeah, that's a good point. 100,000 subscribers. We hit that mark at the start of this week. Thank you so much to everyone watching who has been part of that journey, has subscribed to the channel. It's just a number, but it does mean a heck of a lot to me and everyone else involved in the Traxion team, because it just gives us the motivation and the excitement to make more content for you and reach the next milestone. And it's it's the support of you guys, and it's you subscribers, the people who like, the people who comment, and the people who just watch silently. It's thanks to you guys that we're able to make this content, we're able to do the things we love, and we will continue to do that. We will continue to push and grow, and just massive thank you to all of you. What is my internet speed? Right now, the download speed is 274 Mbps. So I reckon we'll be up and running in another couple of minutes. But obviously I'm streaming as well, so that might have a slight effect. But then you'll be able to see the game. In fact, you can probably, if I go here, I'll bring it up on screen in a second. Just change this so you can see what's on my screen. There we go. So we're 87% there. 1 minute remaining, guys. 1 minute remaining, and we'll give it a go. This is going to be a first impression stream, as you might expect. So it's literally going to be from minute 1. We're going to see what the game looks like. I'm going to obviously have to set up the wheel, see how things feel, see what features are available. We know a rough outline of what's going to be there. We know the cars. We know the 5 tracks. We also know the features. It's just going to be very bare bones, single player, a quick race or kind of practice session, I guess. We're also going to have a little bit of a driver academy where I think it's basically going to be like license tests almost for each circuit. So you'll probably be at the start line, you'll have a certain sector of a track or a full lap, and you'll have to beat a target time or something. But that's all speculation based on the limited information we've got. Ah, yes. No, you're not going to miss the stream. So we were obviously planning to go live like a couple of hours ago. We originally thought it was going to be 2 p.m, so we were going to go live at 1:15. Then we thought it was going to be 3 o'clock, and nothing happened. And we've just been sitting waiting ever since then. Some of the Traxion guys as well might jump in and join me later on, because they're all going to be playing the game as well. Obviously, TraxionGG, not only a YouTube channel, but a website. Try and keep you updated with all the latest news. So you might have been already seeing a bunch of news on the Traxion website for Assetto Corsa Evo, and all of my colleagues will be playing as well and trying to write more articles, and they might jump in with some updates. So I'm gonna hit play. It's happening. Just gonna very quickly make sure I've muted everything. Right. We're launching. A momentous occasion. Let us know how you guys are doing. Are you excited to be playing it? Obviously, you're watching the stream. Does that mean you're not able to play it yet? Or you just want to see what it's like before you get into it? Come on. There we go. I'll stop the music as well, guys. Okay, we've got something. It's very loud. So immediately we're into offline mode. Now you guys won't be able to hear this yet, but for me it's very loud. So let me just sort the audio real quick. I'm going to take this down. It's funny, video games are always ridiculously loud when you first launch them. Right, there we go. Right, I can bring you audio now because it's no longer going to... Now, most important thing, when a Scottish person launches a new game, does it acknowledge Scotland as a country, or are we United Kingdom? We're United Kingdom. Okay, profile done. Gallery, that's going to be replays and photographs, so maybe we have replays in this early access mode, maybe we don't. I don't know if this is grayed out because... Actually, I should probably move my camera, shouldn't I, really? Because you guys are not really going to be able to see the whole thing. Alright, moving me over to somewhere else on the screen. There we go. I'm going to be doing a lot of that as we go here. Yeah, so you can see replays and photographs are there, but it's grayed out. So, is this going to be something that's not available at this early stage, or is it something we're going to unlock as we play? Because at the moment, I mean, Academy's also grayed out, and I thought we were going to get Academy, so I'm a bit confused about that. We do have special events in single player, which we'll get into. Cornwall was not on the list, I'm afraid, Tom. Didn't even have to look for that one. I'm also just thinking... So we've got, well, obviously, we need to set our controls and stuff, so we'll get into that. The HUD, we'll have a quick look through the menus here. So gameplay, HUD menu, language, that's fine. Offline mode, can we turn that? Online mode, obviously, there's no multiplayer yet, but if we go online, we'll see if that does anything. Apply. I've set it to online mode, but it hasn't changed anything here, so that's, I mean, expected. And it's still stayed off, so that's fine. Can't even get to HUD settings at the moment, so that's no problem. The main thing is, are we actually going to be able to drive? That's what I'm going to wonder here. Is server for one. Right, control. Let's just quickly assign some buttons and see if this works. Got the SimuCube wheelbase. I mean, that's not a good start, is it? Oh wait, I should probably click that first, shouldn't I? SimUcube 2 Pro, there we go. Yeah, okay. Steering has been assigned. Throttle, we're going to have to assign to the link hub. For shifting, I'm just going to use paddles today. Yeah, okay, so we've got steering assigned already, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna try and show the vehicles. At the moment, I can't seem to view the dealership, so I need to work that out. Whether maybe I need to do a quick race or something in single player first to like unlock it. I'm honestly not quite sure. We're gonna show as much as we can in this first impressions because we're kind of working out as we go here. We're gonna give you as much of an idea as possible. First thing, of course, was the price. I don't know what it is in other countries, but it looked like it was £32.99 on Steam unless you buy it in the first week or two, and then you get a 20% discount, I think. So it's like $24,
It's $40,
25?
€40.
Oh, $40. Tom's here. Are you on?
Yes,
Have you got the game launched, Tom?
No, I'm working on articles. I don't know if the stream can hear me or not.
They should be able
Can
to.
you?
Yeah. They should
Oh,
be able
sorry. Producer Tom here. Saying it's $39.99 and in dollars and euros. But there is a 20% discount, like John said, until the 30th
Perfect.
of January. But John, I have a request.
Yes.
And that is, it looks like on a roadmap that has been published on the Assetto Corsa website, that dynamic weather is not included in this build.
Yeah. We can test that out. I mean, at the moment, so I'm about to click drive because at the moment a lot of things are locked. I can't access the dealership. I can't access customized vehicles. The garage, I just have my Abarth 695 and I cannot do anything with that. Actually, I tell a lie. There's a button here that I missed. So if you click on the Abarth logo, we've got Alfa Romeo, Ford, Honda, Hyundai, and Volkswagen. That's interesting.
What's in the Volkswagen? What's in Volkswagen?
The Volkswagen's the old Golf, isn't it? So it's the
oh
no,
no, but that was not
Hang
part
on.
of the initial list. These are different to the initial list that they confirmed to be in the game.
That's
no, it's
true.
not right. It's just different versions of the Golf.
It is different versions. We've got 4 different versions of the Golf 8 GTI Club Sport. We've got plenty of different versions of the i30N hatchback as well. 3 different Honda S2000. So I'm not quite sure about this, but we're going to work this all out. Ford RS Cosworth, so we can click on that. And we can view it here, but we can't go to the dealership. We can't customize it. So it's unclear right now what this means. Like, does this mean we can drive it? I'm in the Ford Escort Cosworth, so let's just go to drive. And I'll tell you what, before we do anything else, let's find out what actually is in the single player menu here. So
right, I'm going to hop out now, leave you to it, but yes, very interesting. If you click weather now, see if you can change the weather before I
we'll give it a go. So we're going to go Laguna Seca, that's new. Practice game mode. We've got assist weather, static. So let's see. Okay, so weather, we've got clear, clouds, overcast, drizzle, rain, heavy rain. So we do seem to be able to select heavy rain. Whether it works is another question.
Dynamic. Could you click dynamic as well?
We can do custom. No, we can't do custom. Dynamic we can click, although dynamic won't let us change any of the settings at the moment. So it could just be like a dynamic preset based on what we pick, I guess.
Okay, that's good to know.
Right. Okay. So someone's going to test that, right? So we're going to start with clear because I just want to get this show on the road. Let's just start driving and see what happens. So Escort Cosworth, assists, let's get them off. We do not want stability control. We're going to go just pro. But we'll leave on the automatic pit limiter and the clutch because I don't have a clutch assigned right now.
Right,
All right.
enjoy the stream. See you later.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let's get going then. Let's get going. Practice mode, 10-minute practice. We can change the duration. We'll leave it at 10 minutes for now. Click apply. How do we actually get into the event? That's the next part. Start session. Right. Here we are. We're hitting the road. So obviously I have played this game. I played it at the Sim Racing Expo. But this was you can never really tell much from that because it's an an early build of early access. So we've had it before with trying games early where the game feels totally different in even a pre-early access build to what it feels in early access. So even though I have a bit of an idea, there's no car setup stuff yet on this Ford, so that's fine. Even though I've got a bit of an idea, it'll be interesting to see how this actually feels. And that sounds like... Right, my throttle's inverted, so Let's change that. It does feel a little bit like Christmas. It's just like that thing of trying to temper trying to temper my excitement a little bit, just because it's so early. You know, it could be very easy. Right, invert axis. We've done that, so hopefully we might need to do it for the brake as well. Let's just try and see what's happening. Okay. Now brake's inverted as well, so we'll invert that, and then I think we should be good to have our first drive here, guys. So let's go. Properties. It's funny, you jump on a new game and you're instantly getting all this information. It's like trying to get used to where things are, you know, where the different options are. There's obviously it looks like an Assetto Corsa UI. Like, it doesn't look like anything completely different to what you'd expect. You've got force feedback settings there as well. It does feel like an Assetto Corsa UI, but it's obviously a bit fresh and a bit different, which is nice. Right, I think we're going to make the face cam a little bit smaller up in the corner. We're not really hiding any information there, so that's fine. I'm going to bring up comments just so I can see what you guys are saying whilst we're driving. And let's go. Right. Moment of truth. Haven't touched any graphics settings. Obviously, we haven't seen the performance yet. If you want to know my PC specs that I'm using, they should be in the description. Okay, I've sped in the pit lane immediately. That's not really surprising. We've gone with the Escort RS Cosworth, so rear-wheel drive, front-engined, traditional, you know, road car layout. Nice clean UI down the bottom right. Can you hear the tyre scrub there? Okay, this is also our first look at Laguna Seca as well. I've tried Bathurst, or Mount Panorama. I've tried Imola. And I've also tried... What else did I try? Brands Hatch. I mean... It's working. It's working out the box. It's funny, the Escort Cosworth is such a cool, interesting car, and it's a powerful road car, but when you're so used to throwing GT cars and racing cars around the circuit on a sim, it's just getting back into that road car mindset. So far, so good. I mean, things have been running super, super clean. There's a really... I'm not liking the look in that left mirror at the moment, or in the top mirror as well. There seems to be... I don't know if it's the sky from a certain distance. That looks better now. The tracks are also laser scanned, so there should be an accurate representation, I must say. Oh, there we go. First bit of proper oversteer. Nice and easy to catch. You can see the tyre temperatures in the bottom right and the PSI as we go. Okay. Begin to chuck this thing around. I said this was rear-wheel drive. It's an Escort Cosworth, so of course it's four-wheel drive, isn't it? I'm talking absolute nonsense. I bet you guys have been commenting that already. Okay. Was it said when the open world map will be available? It's coming in summer. We know that the open world's coming in summer. I don't know exactly to what extent as well. I think it'll come in stages. So don't expect like the entire 1,600 kilometer squared open world out of the box. But at least we know it's going to be the middle of the year. Or at least it's planned to be the middle of the year. Multiplayer should be coming on either the second or third update. So I'm guessing that'll be before summer. But who knows at the end of the day. Hey Dan, how's it going? Right, okay, so this is feeling... I'm enjoying this so far. I don't really have a lot of four-wheel drive road car experience in terms of real racing or anything like that. So, obviously I know a little bit about how it feels, but... I'd say initial impressions are it feels really natural. I don't feel like any of my settings are horrendously out of sync. I don't feel like anything needs madly adjusted. It's just feeling very easy and natural straight out of the box. I've managed to get the car a little bit sideways. Even though it's four-wheel drive, I felt the weight transfer in it as well. Obviously, tyres is going to be a big thing. Can you actually feel the tyres working underneath you? I've used the recommended SimUcube wheelbase settings as well for this, which you can find on the Traxion website. We've got recommended settings for the game from the developers for SimMagic, SimUcube, Thrustmaster, Fanatec. Hopefully I didn't get any of them wrong, but we've got quite a few different manufacturers. Some of them I might have missed out there. So do head over to the Traxion website if you want that. Okay. Oh, missed the braking point there. But so far so good, guys. What's the default button for changing camera? I haven't mapped any of that yet, so... Did Jimmer pick... Did he also pick the Cosy at Laguna? That's funny. Of all of the combinations... Oh, there's a bit of stuttering there. Don't know if you saw that. Frames dropped slightly. It was running perfectly smoothly. Now I'm getting just a little bit of frame drop. Obviously I am streaming at the same time, but I'm not recording or anything, so it shouldn't be massive. That's interesting to note. I'm loving the sound of the tyre squeal as well. That's pretty accurate so far. Interesting as well, because I'm driving a road car, you can actually see the driver's hands. He's not wearing gloves or anything. I'm wearing gloves because I've obviously got this Alcantara wheel, so I'll get stuff all over my hands, but because he's driving a road car, he's actually not wearing gloves in the game, I presume. I guess if we jump in a race car, the drivatar is going to have gloves on. Right, I need to try and see how some of the other things are feeling in terms of the curbs. Didn't really get much feedback over those curbs at all, to be fair. Horrendous entry. Same as last lap. Tried to go over the sausage curb, yeah. Little bit of force feedback coming through, but no, I would say no like insanely detailed curb rumble or anything like that. Definitely dropping frames now though. Is it realistic? Well, it's going to be up to something we try a few different cars, see how they feel. I'd say this feels realistic to me. Like, this is, put it this way, I jump on this and within 3-4 corners, it's far more realistic in terms of driving a car around a racetrack than something like Forza Motorsport. It's very, I'd say, instantly comparable to something like Assetto Corsa, the original. It kind of feels, at the moment, familiar to the version I tried at the Sim Racing Expo as well. I gave my opinions on that as well. And I'd say it's a similar, it doesn't feel massively different from that. It's, you know, I definitely need some lessons, 100%. I'm just gonna have a wee look at some of the settings quickly. So video, we've got, yeah, so VSync's obviously off, that's fine. We can go full screen mode. Don't know if that's gonna cause any issues, but we're gonna save that. So what are the graphics on? Custom at the moment. The settings are fairly middle of the road. So that's interesting. It looks quite soft, I would say. I think it looks good so far. It looks quite clean, but I would say it looks a bit soft. I think with a lot of these things though, it comes down to opinion. Forza Motorsport is a soft looking game. Yeah, so the graphics right now are quite low, so we can obviously try and turn them up a little bit. I don't know why I was getting some frame drops there. That was a bit strange. Let's bump it up and see. So we've got some presets. If we go for let's just try Ultra, right, and see what happens. We'll see if the game crashes. Holding my breath. Oh, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Don't know if you can see my cursor, but oh, we're good. Right, we've gone on to the Ultra preset, so let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, and we do have replays, guys. Look at this. We've got very, very basic replays by the looks of it, unless there's buttons you can assign. But hey, we've got something. I don't know if you can go full screen with it, or if you're always going to have that bar, but there you go. Very quick glimpse at a replay. We're going to try and rattle through lots of different things here, because obviously we want to get a bit of a flavour of what's on offer. Badly missed Apex. Okay, I didn't even mean to click buttons there. It's just the obviously the game's taking a little bit of time to load between things. So we're on Ultra now, so let's have a wee look. I mean, I would say in terms of the visuals, it doesn't look like I wouldn't sit here and say, oh, this is the most realistic looking sim I've ever seen or anything like that. It does, as I say, look slightly soft, which I think it looks quite nice, but the main thing for me is that, you know, it performs well, the textures are okay. But in terms of lighting and all these things, I don't expect it, put it that way, especially in early access, I don't expect it to be fighting with Gran Turismo 7 on that front. The main thing for me is that the driving physics feel good, the handling feels good, the cars feel manageable. So on ultra settings, I mean, I'm not noticing a massive difference. The mirror's a lot better, so that's something. Frame rate wise for me, obviously it's difficult because you're watching a stream, so there might be some differences there between what I'm experiencing and what you're seeing, but for frame rise right now is looking absolutely fine, so upping the settings didn't seem to hurt anything. But I am running a pretty beefy PC. The corkscrew doesn't feel that steep, which is interesting. The tracks are laser scanned, so every single time through there. Whew. You could hear the car belly out there. Yeah, looking good. Sounds, I mean, sounds absolutely fine. Pretty sure this Cosworth's going to have a turbocharger, so you've got a little bit of whine, and you can just hear that subtly in the background. It doesn't sound amazing, but I don't think this car, in reality, is the best sounding 90s sports car out there. You can really feel the four-wheel drive working as it should. But what I would say immediately, as I keep on shifting down too soon, I would say immediately this is enjoyable, feels enjoyable to drive, and that was exactly what I thought at the Expo. The only thing about the Expo, I tried it on a few different rigs in different places, and it felt different depending on what setup it was on, depending on what wheel and base you were using, what PC you were running. It did look and feel different on each different rig. So I was a little bit nervous about how it would feel, straight out of the box on my own rig with no time to set it up and everything, but hey. Modding, it's going to come to the game, it's not there yet, and when it does come to the game, it's going to be all done through official channels, I believe, so you can expect maybe like a mod repository, a little bit like what you see in BeamNG, for example, is what I would suspect, but it's not been confirmed yet. Should get one lap in here. I really want to try the Driver Academy, but it was kind of blocked over earlier, so I really don't know if I'll be able to. I want to drive something more similar to some of the cars I've driven in real life as well, just so I can... Oh no! Mucked up the lap. Just so I can give more of an impression on realism, the difference between them. It feels reasonably safe at the moment, I would say. Alright, terrible, 146. Press menu to end session. I don't even know what buttons are assigned, so we're just going to hit escape. That does the job. Right. First glimpse of the music as well. I don't know if you guys can hear that very well. There's your audio settings. Pretty good. I can potentially bring up performance stats as well. Right, what we got? So, that was a quick practice session. Again, I'm just going to head back to the main menu because in the garage we seem to have a kind of random selection of cars a little bit. It's not... I don't know if that's just the cars we're given to start with, but we seem to have multiple versions, and I don't know enough about this yet. So obviously each of these says entry with a little in red. I'm not sure what that means, but you've got 4 different liveries, I guess, on Golf. Now, when I go to single player and jump in an event, I don't know if the car options are the same, so let me just check. Yeah, so you've got rentals we can't access yet. That's interesting. Yeah, so it just, you can select from your garage. So this is what we've got to start off with, guys. Honda S2000, Alfa Romeo Junior, the Abarth, the Hyundai, and the Golf. So relatively lower powered road cars. One electric car as well. Interested to try that. The Honda S2000, I'm going to definitely jump in that because there's a rear-wheel drive sports car. I've raced a lot of MX-5 and the like, so that'll be good for getting a feel. So we'll do that next. No way to go to the dealership yet. Got some love for the Golf. I will jump in the Golf at some point. I will. We need to try front-wheel drive as well. Yeah, so I can't click anything on licenses yet, so I don't think that's available. We thought that was going to be available. Doesn't look like it is yet. Same with replay. We can seem to be able to view live replay when we're driving, but and I didn't even check the photos, so we'll come back to that as well. Yeah, well, we can just pop this to unlimited just to see what happens. Obviously, I'm running 60 FPS anyway, and the stream will be limited, but it does look a little bit like a Forza game, just in terms of the softness. It doesn't feel like a Forza game, guys. Honestly, it does feel, I would say, I don't know what the word is, like, it feels like you could jump in. Obviously, you're driving a road car, but that one was 4-wheel drive, so it's not going to feel crazy. But it does feel like friendly, I think is the word. It felt friendly, and I don't mean that doesn't mean unrealistic. I just think that it didn't feel like it was trying to kill you straight away every second. But it definitely did, like, as you see, when I was going a bit too hard, I was easily locking up, I was stepping out the back end, I was losing the back end, all those kind of things. But we'll develop way more of an opinion as we drive through here. Honda S2000. We're going to jump in that, because that'll give us another idea. Let's do... Should we do a quick race? We can't do race weekend yet. The Nordschleife is not available, unfortunately. So the Nordschleife, I'm sure, will be coming to the game, but there's only 5 tracks at the moment. So it's Suzuka, which we haven't seen yet. We've got Laguna Seca, which we just drove. We've got Brands Hatch, Mount Panorama Bathurst, and we also have Imola as well. So there's your tracks for this first early access release. So we can do laps or timed race. That's fine. Start time, okay, we've got midnight to 11 o'clock, so it looks like we do have dynamic weather, or dynamic night and day cycles, dynamic weather, stuff like that. So maybe if let's start at like 7:30 and see if we get a little bit of evening running. We can turn the multiplier up as well, so that it just goes pretty quick into night. How big are the grids? 30 people on the grid. So that's pretty good, straight out I mean, we'll try it, why not, right? And what's your slider? 100 to 80% for opponent skill. So we'll start it off at around 95 and just see where it lies. We don't want single make, so we'll turn that off. Let's just try 30 cars, evening race. Let's test this game. Let's test the early access. I do want to drive Suzuka at some point. There's also the short courses. Look, so you've got Suzuka East and Suzuka West. So that's like the I can't remember which one's which, but one of them is basically just the start-finish straight, the S's, and then it loops around to the right, back onto the start-finish straight. So that would be pretty good for a race and something like this. And then you've got the full GP layout. I don't remember if it's East or West. Does anyone know? Does anyone know? We're going to go Bathurst. We've had a request for Bathurst. So let's start with that. We'll go to rain shortly, guys. So we'll go Broken Cloud for now, and we'll keep it dynamic. And we will definitely try rain. I can potentially bring up performance data on the screen. What's the shortcut for that again? We'll bring it up on screen if we can, just so you can see it. 5-lap race around Mount Panorama, hopefully going into the night. So things that aren't here yet. It doesn't look like we can do licenses, which is interesting. There should be a currency in the game. There should be an economy. There should be a driver level and things like that. I've not seen any evidence of it so far, so we really need to keep an eye on that. Oh, it's already dark. Okay. Let's no. I'm gonna quit and go a little bit earlier just so we can see it going into the dark. But clearly, nighttime's there. We don't have open world yet. We don't have the open world map. We don't have a number of cars and tracks that have been confirmed but are not here yet. We also don't have this, if you're selling a product for money, even if it's early access, you can't use early access as an excuse for something to be bad, but you can use it as a point of understanding for a game to get better. So there may be glitches, there may be issues like that. Haven't seen anything yet, but what I would say as well is if you're paying for a game, even if it's early access, you want it to feel at least good enough. You want it to feel worth your money to some level. It will probably get better over time. We saw that with Assetto Corsa, the original game. We saw it with ACC. It started off pretty poorly, I would say. And then it got better. But I could see it being similar for this, right? Okay, so you can see we've got nice lighting for the start here. Let's see how the performance is. Okay. It looks like it is... Oh, no, it's not a single make. We've got an escort in our mirror. We can also have a look at some AI behavior here. Yeah, graphics. I'm not in love with the graphics. I don't think it looks amazing. I should have automatic lights on as well, so that should hopefully kick in, if it's not already. There we go. Right on cue. So again, the Honda is not super powerful. Fair enough, commitment around the outside from the AI. We've got a radar as well on the HUD, so you can see where cars are relative to you. Yeah, I don't know if what you're seeing graphics-wise is exactly what I'm seeing, but it does look a bit soft. It does look a bit soft. Oh. Okay, so when I thought the lights had gone out, but it's just the interior, so when obviously the car's behind you, depending on the lighting of the circuit, it's how much light you've got in the interior. That makes a lot of sense. There was a sudden change there. I went from light to pure darkness. The sounds are changing a lot as well, depending on where I am on circuit. Like that was a bit strange, I would say. I had no one around me, and the sounds were pretty loud, and then it went quiet, and then it went loud again. But from where I'm sitting, the sounds, unless you go close to the wall and you get a bit of amplification, the sounds shouldn't be changing massively. I am in a convertible. Oh. Need to do some rev matching on the downshifts. First lap of this car. Doesn't feel amazing physics-wise. I need to push it more, I need to get into it, but it feels a little bit safe is the word I would use. But let's just give it some time here. Let's give it some time. Start wide. Can't see a thing other than with the headlights, at least that's realistic. Okay, I feel like the road tyres, I'm really struggling to get the car slowed down, so I need to take that into account as well. So used to driving around Mount Panorama in a race car. We'll make the AI harder as well for the next race, because it looks like we're already driving away from them a little bit, so we're not really getting a test of the AI this time. You could see like the Ferris wheel and stuff in the distance there as we were heading down towards the chase. Oh my goodness, I just forgot about turn one. Yeah, sense of speed is going to be something as well. Suspension physics, that was something they spoke about as well in the trailer. They were really focusing on, obviously, the tyre modelling and stuff like that, but also like the way the suspension works over curbs. Oh, there we go. Stepped out a bit there. Did I get a warning? You can definitely feel as you go over the bigger curbs, you're getting quite a big bounce, which is good. Yeah, that was better. Could feel the car stepping out, was able to kind of ease on the power. I think we're still in max graphics as well. I need to go and check. Okay, maybe it's the tires coming in. I'm not quite sure. It's feeling a little bit more live on this lap, I'd say. And I've lost it. Maybe we'll get another look at the AI. Damage modeling's another question as well. I need to check some of the different camera views, see if we've got any visual damage or anything, because that's something that I'm not sure. It hasn't been confirmed yet. That was the first proper crash I've had, so if I assign some buttons to change the camera, we'll maybe have a look. But I think 2 laps, to be honest, of this is probably going to be enough for now, because I want to try and see as many different things as I can. That's it stepping out again. It's the overheated rear tyres. No visual damage. Okay, fair. I mean, it doesn't feel like there's anything right now. Let's just let's pause for a second. Let's just take a breather. So, pause menu. You've got a replay, which is what we saw earlier, so you can actually see. There's not much to the replay. I mean, right now it's completely bare bones. You can pause it or play it. I don't even know if there's a way of hiding this this bar. Oh, hang on. There is a way of hiding the bar. You scroll down. There you go. So someone... Yeah, okay, so there's no damage, it looks like, at this stage. I mean... That replay looks okay. It just looks a... little bit soft. Little bit soft. There was an animated Marshal there at the side, which looked quite cool. He was moving around quite a lot. Definitely some pop in and pop out. Yeah, there's... I would say... Yeah, I'd say visually it certainly feels a little bit rough. Like, when I say rough, I mean... It looks soft and smooth, but the actual... Like, as you say, there are things missing. It looks like... It feels like It feels like there's definitely some work to be done on the visual side. I mean, I'm not someone who is, you know, massively analytical. I tend to focus on the cars, how they drive. I'm not really a graphics person in terms of what I find to be the most important in a game, but I can already see that there's some areas to be improved there, right? There are some areas to be improved. Driving wise, first lap felt meh, okay. Second lap felt better, but we want to try some other stuff. I'm hearing rain looks cool. We know that's happening, so what else we got? I was gonna try some. I was gonna see if I could assign a button to change the camera. There's a drone, so that's cool. Lots and lots of camera options for selecting different cars, looking left and right. So that's something we'll have to play around with. Again, I don't want to spend my time looking at that right now because I feel like there's more important things that we can look at. F1 for changing the camera angle, so that's fine. Let's not worry about all that right now. Let's just see if I can have a look at what view options we've got. So there's the kind of cockpit camera without the steering wheel. That looks like a slightly nicer angle, actually. You've got bonnet cam. We'll go daytime as well for the next one. Front of the car. Chase cam, which you can't see much right now at all. Wide chase cam or far chase cam, and then back to cockpit. So, kind of exactly what you'd expect, really, in terms of driving cameras. Okay. Let's try something else. I'm going to up the AI as well, see if we can get a proper race going. Right. What next, guys? There was someone who asked for the Golf. I think the Golf is a good shout because there's not that much to test right now in terms of cars. I mean, we're already making our way through it. Looking at this, until we can access the dealership, we've got the Golf, the Hyundai, the Honda, the Ford, the Alfa, and the Fiat. Now, we did know there's 20 cars in the game at this early stage, so we need to work out how we actually get them. I don't know if it's anything to do with this offline-online mode, because obviously multiplayer is not a thing yet, but we should be getting we should be getting currency, we should be getting driver leveling up. We've seen that that happens. So why is that not, I can't see any evidence of that on screen anywhere. Profile, I've already put my information in there. Maybe I didn't click apply, but it's all gone. That's fine. We could do that another time. So I'm slightly confused at the moment to what we actually have access to. And I don't know if that's a day one thing that's going to be changed and is going to, it's, we need to get this out, maybe something's gone wrong, or whether it's to do with this offline-online mode, whether it's just not ready yet and there was a bit of misinformation. I don't know. It's too early to say, but right now, from what I can tell playing the game, I didn't seem to gain any money. I mean, I haven't finished a race, to be fair. That is another point. I did finish a practice session. So maybe if I do a slightly shorter race, we'll actually finish a race. We'll see if there's any sort of currency, but again, I see no sign of it anywhere. Let's do a 3-lap race. We'll go back to daytime. We do want to try the rain as well, so we will definitely do that. Opponent number, that's fine. We're going to bump it up to 100 and see what they do. Doesn't seem to be any... Oh, grid starting position. Okay, so we can start at the back, see if we can keep up with them. Yeah, good question about the cars. I'm wondering the same thing. What I wasn't sure about was whether or not all of the cars that were available as part of day one on early access would be immediately available, or whether, because they talked about the introduction of this economy and this currency system in the early access build, I wasn't sure if you'd have to do some quick races to get money to then buy some of the faster cars that are apparently available, like the Porsche 911 Cup car, for example. But yeah, again, nothing I can click on in terms of dealership and customized vehicle. Nothing at all. So hopefully I'm doing something wrong and I haven't found out yet, or it's going to be an update very soon. Let's just try it. Let's try and complete one race, right? 3 laps. We're gonna jump in the Golf. We're gonna do Brands Hatch. Do we have different layouts of Brands Hatch? Do we have Indy? Yes. So we've got Indy and GP. So that's good. We'll go for the dual tone Golf Club Sport. Yeah. No, you've looked as well. Interesting. Controller support, Matthias. I'm not going to test controller support in this video, but the editorial team at Traxion, who are furiously typing away, writing articles right now, I know that one of the things they're going to look out for is how it feels in a controller. So if I hear anything, I'll let you know. If not, do keep an eye on the Traxion website, because we will have information about how controller support feels. But let's do this. So assists, again, I'm just leaving. I don't want to play, I don't need to test, pit lane speed limiters and all that kind of stuff right now. I just want to focus on the important stuff, because everything else we'll get in time. I will do rain as well. I'm going to try one more run in the dry, because I want to try rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, and 4-wheel drive, and then I will try the rain as well. Anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm very intrigued to see what the consensus is, to see what everyone's thinking when they get on it, and I'm also intrigued to hear what other people have found who've been jumping on already immediately. So if you're already playing the game and you happen to be watching the stream alongside, let us know your thoughts. Right, back at the grid at Brands Hatch, 100 AI, so they might just drive away from me here. Oh, look at the lag there on the bottom right on the HUD. That's horrendous. As soon as the race starts, though, okay, the HUD on the bottom right is very. That's not running at the same frames as the actual game, I would say. AI slowing up a lot. Oh, there's a mistake from a Camaro. That's something, at least. No damage yet, so I'm not too worried about the contact. Obviously with the radar as well, it's very small in the middle of the screen. I'm sure that'll be adjustable, but it's, hey, it's not realistic, but I think it's good for awareness when you're not actually in a real car. You can't actually look around as easily. So there's an argument that having a little radar is unrealistic, but I actually think it's more realistic level of awareness. Oh, there's another Camaro off. Obviously the Camaro's hard to drive. Maybe that's realistic. AI are first lap struggling with each other. They're jostling for space. They're pretty slow at the moment. Interested to see about the sounds as well, because I did find there was a bit of a weird thing there in the Honda where it was going loud and then quiet at a point where I didn't really feel like there should have been a big difference, and either that's an incredible level of detail with something I'm missing, or it's just not quite as it should be. Welcome to the stream. Interior does look good. Bit of touring car action there. Yeah, there's a lot of detail. I like the live tire temperature thing as well. It looks a bit more basic than ACC in terms of the colour. Actually, saying that, I don't know if it is more basic, actually. I was thinking that from the first run in the Escort, but there's definitely brake temperature there as well. You've got the road compound. There is a damage meter. I think that's damage anyway. If you look right of the tyre indicator, and because I don't think there's any damage yet, it seems to be pretty redundant. Send one down the inside of these guys. Okay, so AI on 100, I'm still making my way through the field quite easily, which, I don't know, as a game with no multiplayer, that's a frustrating start. Ooh. And there, I spoke too soon. Got too confident. So, handling, front wheel drive, again, feels similar to the version I played previously, which was, I never drove a Golf, but I did drive the Hyundai. Similar sort of performance figures, I would guess. Front wheel drive. This feels like a front wheel drive road car around a circuit. It's not giving me, I mean, when you're driving a road car in a racing environment, it's kind of hard to talk about how much feedback and everything it's giving you and information, because I've competed in a lot of road cars and sprint events and track days and stuff like that, and honestly, you do lack a lot of information. When you're driving a road car, a lot of the time the frustration is the numbness of it, right? It's soft road suspension, it's not, you don't feel everything as well as you should. You've got power steering, which makes a huge difference. So even though this Golf isn't giving me tons of information in terms of the handling, it does feel realistic. Like, I definitely think that. But there's obviously a level there which you'd have to explore the subtleties more. Look at that terrible exit from the AI, totally blocked by the GR86. We're going to get to the end of this race, guys, and we're going to see if there's any sign whatsoever of currency or leveling up or anything like that. Final lap, P8. Also, let us know if you're going to be picking this up. If you're maybe you're at work at the moment, you're waiting to play it, maybe you're on the road, whatever it is, but do let us know what you're thinking, whether you're going to pick it up in early access, whether you're going to wait for it a little bit to get closer to a full game. That was shocking through the hairpin. Absolutely shocking. Literally reading a comment about me being able to drive and talk at the same time whilst crashing and going wide during a corner is absolutely predictable. There we go, that's better. I wonder if the AI level changes depending on where you are on the grid, because I mean, those cars at the back were pretty slow, right? But looking at this right now, the front five seem to have absolutely galloped away at the front. There's no way I'm going to catch them. So I would be really intrigued to see like what the best lap time is going to be. Like if I continue this lap in a good way and get a lap time that's somewhat representative, I'd be very intrigued to see if it shows us the AI's fastest lap, because then maybe we'll get a better idea on AI difficulty range, I guess. Whether they're quicker at the front of the field than they are when they're jostling for position, for example. Obviously, you're going to get a little bit of that. No career mode yet. Career mode is coming down the line. It's another feature. Career mode, multiplayer, open world, modding. All of these things are coming to this game further down the line. So I don't know if they'll it's not as if you're going to have to wait till full release for a lot of them, which is hopefully coming later on this year, but you will at least have to wait for more updates before you get some of those things, which is a shame, but... Okay, race over. I mean, like, again, I'll be absolutely clear. So far, in terms of the handling, nothing's blowing me away. I'm not going, wow, this is the most amazing thing I've ever felt, but it does feel realistic to a level. It doesn't feel... it feels satisfying, it feels enjoyable, it feels the right level of weightiness. I'd say I'm more impressed with the Golf and the Ford than I was with the S2000, which is actually a shame because the S2000 would be, in theory, a more enjoyable car to drive. But it's a massive step ahead of something like Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsport, which I know they're not comparable as well, they're very different, but handling-wise, it's tons further ahead and closer to realism than those two games. Some cars in Gran Turismo 7 do feel great, but there's such a big variety. This feels a level up. Does it feel like a million miles ahead of Assetto Corsa or something like that? No, it doesn't. It definitely don't expect, if you found Assetto Corsa not good enough handling-wise, don't expect this to be a whole new level or something like that, because it feels great, but yeah, there's nothing that's blowing me away at the moment, put it that way. More to drive, more cars to discover though. Race cars are going to really be key, and I did think the Porsche handled well when I drove that at the Expo, so it'll be interesting to see if it still does. It's not Sim Racing 2.0, yeah, exactly. Right, 6th position. There we go, we get a replay, we've got some music in the background, we've got our results. No sign of a fastest lap chart, so we can't see how fast the AI were at the front. Well, obviously I started at the back of the grid. And again, there you go, replay, very, very basic. Can you change the view of the replay? Yes, you can. So we can watch the replay from different angles. We've got some golf fans in the chat. Everyone is gonna, honestly, everyone's gonna have a different opinion about this, because at the end of the day, especially when you jump straight on it, you're trying to work it out within a small amount of laps, very specific circumstances, different wheel settings, etc. Everyone is going to have a different opinion, and even when you do get up to speed and you fully form your proper finalised opinions that aren't just a first impression, again, people are going to have different opinions. Like, some people love Automobilista 2, some don't like it, some love Race Room, some don't like it, iRacing, you know, it's the same for all of these games. So you just got to take what you can, but always know that, you know, someone telling you something, whether it's me, whether it's someone else, you could have a totally different opinion. It's just trying to get a kind of base gauge here. So, no sign of any currency, no sign of any fastest laps or anything. I've got quit, I've not got continue as an option, so I'm just going to click quit, confirm. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't think anything's going to happen. Yeah, doesn't look like anything's happened, so... Yeah, special events, nothing's there. Assists we can go to, interesting. No special events, which I didn't know that was going to be a thing. Single players, just quick race, which is what we expected in practice, but no sign of any currency, any money gains from that. I've got no access to the dealership. I've got no access to customized vehicle. I've got 5 cars in the garage out of the 20 that will be available or should be available at what I thought was this stage, which is day 1, rather than just the first phase. I thought this was phase 1. No access to licenses on the academy. Driver profile, I've got access to name myself in the game. And I don't even know if that worked. I might have not clicked save earlier, to be fair. No access to replays. And then controls. So it's bare bones. It is bare bones, and it shouldn't be this bare bones based on what they've said. I'm going to try one more time to click on this setting, which for some reason was hidden away in gameplay HUD. Online mode undefined. So I mean, it's doing nothing, but I'm just showing you there's this here. I've clicked online there. Click apply. I'm pretty sure it just turns itself back off again. Oh. Earlier, when I thought I did this, I thought it turned itself back on. Yeah, there you go. Connection to the game's online service could not be established. The game will continue in offline mode. I will try Fog and Rain next, guys. So yeah, there is no way of turning that online right now. And I don't, again, is that just the multiplayer that we know we're not getting yet? Or would having the game online allow me to have currency, allow me to do driver licenses, allow me to buy cars? Like, we've got to wait and see, but all I can judge is what's in front of me. So yeah, let's try rain. Let's try some fog, stuff like that. We're going to go rain first. Let's go for normal rain. We can set it to dynamic. We can change the participate. No, we can't actually. If it's dynamic, we can't change any of that. Custom is not a clickable option yet. So we can set static weather. Again, we can't customize these bars. So it's just literally, you click on a preset, it changes the sky coverage, the precipitation, fog density, and the wind. And then obviously heavy rain. So let's go with rain first. We'll try foggy, and the heavy rain in a little bit, because I think we've got time to cover most of this, considering how little there actually is. I really want to try the electric car, but I think for the rain we'll go the Hyundai or the Abarth. People are more critical nowadays, I would say. There's just more information, more access out there. The best games are getting more realistic, so expectations are high. Games take a long time to develop. Games are getting more complicated, so there are always high expectations, and that's obviously exciting and healthy. But yes, it does leave people frustrated and disappointed. That's fine as well. But I mean, could you blame someone really for being disappointed at what appears to be the options that we've got right now, based on what we were told we would get? I don't think you can blame someone for feeling disappointed at this. But again, in 2 years' time, this might be great, and you'd be buying it now for a discounted price. So that argument's going to rain on. I can see that for sure. Okay, let's do a practice session in the rain. Let's do a practice session for 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Let's go with like 7 a.m. Get some sunrise action. Maybe that's too late, but we'll see. Track-wise, we've done brands. I really want to try Suzuka. So yeah, let's do the big Suzuka in a tiny little hatchback. See what happens. I would quite like to try some wet lines to see if the wet lines that I would take in a real race car can be applied to this and make you faster. Again, lap times are something that you're gonna have to do a bit of running first until you can really like test if it's quicker or not, because as you're obviously learning in the first few runs, you don't have a proper idea yet. Yeah, 911 Cup doesn't seem to be there, but we know it's meant to be here. There's 20 cars that are meant to be there, or at least they're on day one. Yes, Tom.
Producer Tom here again. You unlock cars by completing license tests.
Okay, but I can't access license tests.
That's weird.
So can anyone else? Have you seen anyone else access
I've
license
no idea.
tests?
No, I've no idea. Basically, in the meantime, while you've been playing, we have purchased this game to try and do the stream. We have received a review code, which came with a PDF guide for reviewers. And in that it says that cars will be unlocked by completing license tests. You will still have to buy them, but that area of the game is the key thing. And supposedly, when you first start the game, you can only see 6 cars. Until you buy your first car, the rest of the game doesn't unlock.
Interesting. Okay, so I cannot access the dealership. I cannot buy a car. I have 5 different cars in obviously different variations of them. But yes. I can't access licenses. I cannot access the dealership. So that would make a lot of sense, because then suddenly if that unlocks all those other things that we know were meant to be there on day one, then that makes a lot of sense. So what I'm thinking, there's a little tag at the bottom right when you're on the main menu that says offline or online mode. Now I think that doesn't mean multiplayer. I think that just means that whether you're on the server or not. And I'm wondering if there's server issues. I can't get online on the server, therefore it's not allowing me to access my currency, my level, or my account, and therefore I can't do licenses. That's what I'm kind of theorizing.
That would be mad if you can't do the licenses without it.
Well, and just to be clear for everyone on the stream, that's purely me trying to guess a theory right now. There's absolutely no evidence that that's the case. That's just what I'm trying to work out, why I can't access a bit of the game that I'm clearly meant to be able to access.
Yeah, let me just find the quote, direct quote. So you play along, and I will jump in a minute.
Cool.
The wording, it's not very clear, but it does say here we go. You need driving licenses for purchasing different levels of vehicles. For the game to be initialized, you need to finalize your first vehicle purchase.
Interesting.
After that, you will be in the main menu with your new car, and the game is ready to be played. From now on, you can play how you prefer, with the only limits being you need driving license.
That sounds good to me. So maybe what I'll do after this run is restart the game and see if that fixes it.
Yeah, try it, because you can. There's a list of 6 starter cars, and they're the only cars that you're seeing. And then there's obviously different variants within that, but they are supposedly only cosmetic preset changes that affect the price.
Oh no!
So that's why you've got like different multiple versions of the Hyundai, like KTM.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, producer Tom. Keep me updated,
That's okay.
though. Keep me updated, because this is great.
You're doing a great job.
No, please keep me updated, because this is the kind of information that is good to, if you're taking in whilst I'm driving.
Yeah.
It's great. Can I just say, rain looks great. Rain looks the windscreen effects, the wipers, the graphics are still running just as smoothly with the rain on, and it looks amazing. That's biggest positive.
Did you choose your driver name? Driver 76561198.
Yeah. That's actually my favourite number.
Is it? Oh, right.
Okay, I was too busy concentrating on your joke and I've gone off. I need to work out about puddle build-up and wet lines and all this, but I think it's probably too early. I think I would need to do quite a few laps using normal lines and then switch to kind of rain lines to really work that out. But the Abarth's feeling quite nice. Quite enjoying this.
Now, I love how it's the biposter with the optional windows that didn't go down. They're like the perspex.
Yeah, it's the racing windows.
Style. And I wonder what the gearbox is like. It's out of shop, but you could get. I think it was like a €20,000 option. You could get it with a dog leg first.
Now, if they actually if they implemented that as an option in car customization or tuning, and then it actually affected how your gear shifter was configured, unnecessary but amazing that would be.
Yeah, we have to see once we unlock the main part of this build.
Yeah. Absolutely, but yeah, rain.
There's another.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting this rather seamless stream here, and I'm probably putting off several viewers. But final point, in the document that we've received, it does say that once you own a car, you'll be able to customize finite detail, such as the colour of the seat stitching. And it does mention that within this build, but whether or not it means at some point in early access or now TPC.
Okay.
I would also, you probably said it several times already, but I'll just clarify that there's no online multiplayer in this. That's coming in the 2nd or 3rd update, we believe.
Yeah.
And also, obviously no free roam. I've popped onto some other streams who didn't realise that and thought they could join the multiplayer race. So just to be clear, we can't do that.
Yeah. So multiplayer 2nd or 3rd update. We've got free roam, the first stage of free roam coming in summer, but we don't know what that means. We've obviously got mods still to come later down the line, more content, all these things, career modes, all later down the line, no confirmed dates yet. So it's very much just the bare bones driving at the moment.
Yeah, we should also say that Fuji Speedway is confirmed as the first sort of content update. So they're going on the TraxionGG website. We have put an article live now where there is a roadmap image that has been published by Kunos, and Fuji Speedway is coming soon, along with 2 more cars. And then in the first, let's say, feature update, there's going to be enhanced VR over what's present here already, along with Circuit of the Americas.
Excellent. Can I just say, whilst you were talking there, 130R, I drove over the curb and onto the paint and over the white line, and I felt a very legitimate kind of, not aquaplaning, but basically the lack of grip and the sliding, and that's so realistic. If you get up on the curb or a white line, you essentially just lose all of your steering capabilities, and I could really feel the car just immediately washing out, so that's something.
Okay, so I'll leave you to it again, John. Thank you very much, audience, for putting up with our ramblings, but we are learning on the fly, and if you reset the game after this practice session, let's see if you can buy a vehicle to get into the rest of the modes. But also, people are reporting that the game is not booting properly, because a lot of people are trying to do that. So,
well, I'm a bit scared. If I close this game now, will I ever get it back on? But I think I'm going to try it.
Yeah, let's go for it. Right, hey. I'll leave you to it. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Tom. Thank you. Right. Shall we take a go here, guys? Shall we try and quit the game, restart it, and see if it works? Obviously, there's a slight risk here that we can't get back on, but you've got to assume it's going to work, right? You've got to assume it's going to work. Yeah, I agree. Let's take a chance. Let's take a chance. Quit. Fortune favors the brave. Oh, Oh, here we go. Right. I'm just rebooting the game on Steam. Cross your fingers for me. We'll have a look at changing the HUD. I think in whatever mode I was driving on, which apparently isn't meant to be like that, I couldn't really change anything. To a urban setting.
Oh dear.
Very exciting. Oh, there we go. So here's our first look at this urban showroom. You can change the weather, the time of day, things like that. I mean, that's good for screenshots, but not good for finding new cars. We can also animate stuff like the lights, the steering angle. We can put the hazards on. I mean, that's absolutely fine. Cool. We'll be cooler when we can buy cars. Interesting. Have you seen any evidence, Tom, from anywhere, forums, streams, any evidence that someone's been able to do a license test?
No, I haven't. But I shall go away and see if.
No, Academy's still not working, Tom. Not you,
Yeah,
Tom.
okay,
Other Tom. There's two Toms.
I'll go away and see if someone else's version works in that way. I mean, I am looking at a stream now where someone, I'm not going to name them, but they look to be driving a build that's already been played. But that's, that's for another time.
I want to try Heavy Rain, and I also want to try an electric car. So I'm going to try the Alfa Romeo Junior, which is fascinating because it's cool to have electric vehicles in the game. It's something different. I mean, it's such obviously a stretch away from ACC and back towards the roots of Assetto Corsa. But at the same time, this is not the car you pick for a track day, let's be honest. So it should feel a bit rubbish. And I kind of want it to feel a bit rubbish, but hopefully in a good way. Because I'm normal. Heavy Rain, Imola. So just a thing on the car. There's a lot of people saying about the cars. From what we've picked up, if you jump back in the stream to just at the start of when I was driving around Suzuka in the rain, I had Tom in my ear, who has got some information. Basically, the 20 cars that we expect to be in this release are still in the release, and they should be accessible by doing some license tests. But I, right now, playing this game, have no access to license tests. So it seems like there's some sort of issue somewhere that's not allowing me to do the part of the game that you need to do to make progress, to level up, to get money. So that's a big part of it, even in early access. You want to see how that works, and right now I cannot get into that. If I fill in driver info, that's a good point, Charlie. Let's try that. I did earlier, I think, and I maybe didn't click apply, in which case that's my fault, but I'm pretty sure I filled this all in and then clicked apply. I don't think anything happened, so let's just try again. See if this saves this time. I think this is just, to me it's just appearing like day one glitches, which is not, but this is a serious thing. Like, this is going to make a big difference to people who have been so excited for this game to give it a go. So I've definitely clicked apply there. I'm waiting for it to load. This would be amazing, Charlie, if this works. Yeah, no, I've clicked apply. I can't do anything else. I can click back. Profile. So if I go now back into profile, is it saved? No, nothing there. So maybe that's because it's offline mode again. Still no licenses, still grayed out.
Due to Tom interrupting again, I can't see anyone else being able to do licenses and unlock the other vehicles. So
okay.
We are not alone. I hope there's a hotfix soon. In the meantime, I mean, they're going to be so busy they're not going to reply. But it's I will send an email, and smells like an article to me as well for the website. So.
Yeah, keep an eye on the TraxionGG website for any updates.
Enjoy.
Tom is furiously writing away. I think what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to jump in a quick practice session in the heavy rain to see what that looks like, see the puddles, see the fog in this ridiculous Alfa Romeo Junior, and then I'm going to try another race afterwards to try and get a feel for the AI, because the only feel I've got for the AI right now is basically that they are too slow at the back of the grid on 100% at the moment. They were too easy to pass, but then the cars at the front seemed like a reasonable pace. So we're going to have to try it again, but I've not been able to get a feel for how they properly race, because all I experienced was them going really slowly out of a corner and, you know, not giving me much of a race. So we shall see. We shall see. VR. I've got a question from Martin about VR. I'm not going to do VR in this stream, because it would take me a while to set it up, and my VR headset's very old and all this. But as Traction, we do have VR, and Ross, my colleague, is testing VR as we speak. So we will hopefully have a gameplay video for you coming up on YouTube later. So if the stream's not looking perfect quality, we should have a proper full quality raw gameplay video coming up on the Traction channel as soon as we possibly can bring it to you. So that...
Breaking news.
Oh, yeah.
Breaking news. Post in the official Discord for Assetto Corsa by Ben McConnell, aka Raggy, our good friend. We're aware of network issues which are causing the game to go into offline mode. This means the number of cars in-game are restricted to the 6 starter cars until this is resolved. We're working on this as a matter of urgency, and we hope to bring a resolution to you as soon as possible. Very interesting that you have to be online to do licenses and unlock other cars.
Yeah, that's a big issue in many ways, because yes, I know that lots of people, especially those into sim racing, will have the ability to go online, but there was nowhere, before I bought this game, there was nowhere that I read it said for me to be able to progress or buy a car or do a license, I had to have an internet connection. Did you see that anywhere, Tom?
Nope.
I'm not saying it's not there, but I'm saying I didn't see it.
No,
and
it wasn't obvious, was it?
It wasn't obvious. So yeah, if you've bought that game, obviously you can refund it through Steam, right? But if you've bought the game and then you can't get in the online mode, you're stuck with the cars you've got at the very beginning with no modes, nothing unlocked. That's not a good sign.
No, let's hope it's resolved and that maybe you don't have to be online in the future. We have to give them a benefit of doubt to an extent, although this isn't good.
Yeah, that's it. Benefit of the doubt, but this isn't good. Now, those wipers are furiously going on this Alpha Junior. Can I say it's actually quite quick? Do you know about this? Do you know about this car?
I think it's about 280 horsepower.
Yeah.
It might be front-wheel drive.
It feels front-wheel drive. It's probably the fastest car it's probably the fastest car in the build. Maybe not the Escort Cosworth.
That probably is. Yeah, so it does 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, which is brightly.
It looks great. The interior looks really, really good. The rain I'm super impressed with, as I was at my first playthrough of the Expo. With the graphics turned up to full, the mirrors are looking a lot better as well. And to be honest, the performance, since that first few runs where I was slightly doubtful, it's been okay. It's been okay. I've been running it. Oh, there's a lockup. That's an aquaplaning moment. Got it stopped. Because once we get the online mode, guys, and we get the race cars, I'll properly be able to test the wet weather and the capabilities and stuff. Because right now, with the bouncy road car and road tyres, it's, you know, you can only feel so much underneath you. It's hard to get an actual feel for the suspension and the way it's working because it's such a soft and bouncy car anyway. Let's see how much speed we can get. Oh, I can hear the puddles when I go through them, and I can actually feel them tugging the steering wheel. That's very realistic. So I think they've, so far, from what I can gather, they've nailed the feeling of the rain, and it's going to take a little bit more time and experimenting to see if they've nailed the actual, you know, the physics of the rain and how it actually affects the car in terms of wet lines and stuff.
Enjoy. I shall do some more digging. Goodbye.
I'm liking the little positive vibes Alfa Romeo message on the dashboard. That's nice. We'll try a different camera view as well, guys. So this is the kind of, I guess, more driver eye view without the steering wheel, which isn't as good for a stream potentially, but I can obviously see my steering wheel, so that's fine. Again, just a reminder, I'm using a SimUcube setup, SimUcube 2 Pro, and you can gather, basically if you go on the Traxion website, click on Assetto Corsa Evo as a game, you'll be able to see recommended manufacturer settings for your chosen wheel. A lot of the manufacturers are covered, not every single manufacturer, but a lot of the big ones, so do check out the website and get some recommended settings. I can't say that changing force feedback settings is something that I've considered or felt like I've needed to do at any point. It's been good straight out of the box. And I've looked at the comments and missed my apex. But this is not very exciting to watch, is it? Let's be honest. This is a hot lapping mode. The rain's cool, but in an electric car, it doesn't sound that great. You can't feel what I'm feeling through here, and because of the rain, I'm feeling a lot of mixed things. It's sometimes gripping up okay. It's very hard to judge how much grip I've got. Can I just say, that's super realistic. When you're driving in the rain and something like this, you really don't know what's underneath you a lot of the time. It's a lot about trial and error and feel and getting up to speed. But I'm appreciating the rain so far. Let's I could try some wet lines, but I'm not really going to gain anything from that yet. I think because I don't even know. I mean, that's again an aquaplaning situation. Have I got more grip around the outside? Well, not on that occasion, but I was slightly on the brakes still. Ooh. Right, gravel. That's me flat out in the gravel, and you can see the speed there. Properly bogged down in the wet gravel. Gravel. That's good. Obviously, in real life, you might actually get beached fully and not be able to drive through the gravel at all, but the fact that that slows the car down so much, that is a realistic feel through the gravel. So that's something. You can barely hear the car over the rain. Right, let's get some dry weather again, shall we? We can always come back and try this further. I mean, the main thing, of course, we want to establish is when are we going to get online access, and it doesn't look like it's going to be today or in this stream. So we are certainly going to have to revisit this as soon as things come online. We're going to have to get back on this, try out the driver licenses, things like that. It's not basic making the car less grippy at all. I would say the rain is good. Very, very early impressions and no detail to that whatsoever, but the puddles you can feel underneath you, the aquaplaning you can feel, the changing of grip you can feel. We just need to get more lap time. You know, we need to basically pick a car, do lots and lots of laps in static conditions, and then begin to try wet lines and see if the lap time gets any better. Good to hear it's fun with the controller. That's good stuff. Did they add F1 cars? No, not yet. There are a couple of racing cars in this build, but we can't access them now for all the reasons we've talked about. But there is a Porsche 911 Cup car, there's an MX-5 Mark IV or ND, there is a GT2 Mercedes. So there are some race cars in the early build that we can't access. Someone asked, is this front wheel drive or four wheel drive? Tom, you there? He's properly gone now, he's left me. Is the Alfa Romeo Junior 4-wheel drive? Can someone Google that? We're going to go back to the Cosy. I want to have another AI race. Or have we? Is there any cars we haven't driven yet? Did we drive? We haven't driven the Hyundai, have we?
I think the Alfa Romeo is front wheel drive.
Front or four? Front.
Right, the regular version is definitely front, but that is the Veloce. But it might have a second electric motor at the back. Bear with me.
I'm going to try a Suzuka race in the i30N and see if we can get some better racing with the AI here.
Yeah, it's front wheel drive, Tom.
Cool, front wheel drive, guys. Thank you, Tom. Don't know why I'm repeating that information back. You heard the man.
That's okay. It's a front wheel drive car with 278 horsepower, 254 pound-foot of torque. It can run 255 miles on the WLTP range cycle.
Exciting!
And I need to go now.
Right, we're going to try 30 opponents, 100% skill. We're going to start in 8th, and we're going to see if I can actually have a good race with the AI and learn something. Five-lap race will do. Right. So we've got a comment from Arturo. They're saying the Logitech wheel isn't working. Is that true? We will try and keep you updated on that. I've obviously not spoken to anyone. Hang on a minute. That says opponent skill 97%. I swear I picked 100. I'm going to test that. Yeah, I'm not sure personally, but hopefully someone in the comments is able to find that out. Or if you're watching other streams of people using Logitech, if that's the narrative, then that's not great. But it should work. It definitely should work. So maybe just give it a little bit of time and hopefully they'll sort it. You did the 97. Interesting, Charlie. Okay. Interesting. Nordschleife is not in early access at this stage, I'm afraid. 5 tracks: Suzuka, Brands Hatch, Laguna Seca, Mount Panorama, and Imola. Could not tell you about the PSVR 2. Do you mean when the PSVR 2 is connected to a PC? I take it, but I'm honestly not sure on that one. Yeah, skills definitely set to 100. If I just change that and then change it back, that's either a visual glitch on the UI or it's a game glitch. But to be honest, in a weird way, I would almost rather it was a glitch and it was actually changing it to 97, because then that would... Yeah, it's done it again. Look, opponent skill 97. Not great. Hey, Lewis. Welcome to early access Assetto Corsa Evo. Or sorry, a very small slice of early access Assetto Corsa, because we're not being able to test all the things we're meant to be able to test right now. But how are you getting on? Triple, is that triples for Alex? Yes, triple screen support is there, or should be there, but I do not have triple set up, so I cannot personally test it, but triple support is definitely a thing. Right. Why is it gone? Hang on, I didn't select Brands Hatch, did I? I selected Suzuka, or am I going crazy? Did I not apply it? You quit your job for this launch. I'm sorry you're so disappointed. There's a good life lesson. Don't quit your job for the launch of a game in early access. I'm sorry though. Yeah, triples. Cool.
Hello, is that YouTube's John Munro?
It's YouTube's Ross McGregor now. How are you getting on?
Yeah,
That doesn't sound good.
So yeah, that says it all really. No, it's like I fired it up and I had some controller issues. I've got Hausenvelt sprint pedals and a Moza R12 wheelbase, and like the pedals, like by default, set themselves up as like inverted.
Oh yeah, that's the same as me. I had to invert the brake and the throttle.
Yeah, but it was weird because you know you've got to click on properties to invert them.
Yes.
It's like that part of the screen was lagging, so it wasn't actually giving me an option to click on properties.
Yeah, that's not
which
great.
Is weird. So eventually it's worked, but I'm getting that bug that most people have, which is offline, and I can't change like my driver name or anything like that.
Okay, I think so, from what I've heard, Ross, I think that's the case for everyone.
Yeah, it sounds like. Initially it was online, but then suddenly it just went offline. So I'm guessing it's just like a server somewhere has jobbied itself, and that's the problem.
Have you been able to try VR yet?
Not yet. So I literally just fired the game up to try Suzuka, and I'm in the Closet, and it actually feels okay. Like I quite enjoy the way it feels. I think for me, initially it feels better than the Assetto Corsa, but that's obviously a 10-year-old game, so that you'd expect that. And I think it feels a bit more intuitive than ACC.
Yep.
So, like, first impressions encouraging. However, there's a little bit of like screen tearing and stuff like that. But I've obviously still to like fully investigate all the graphics settings and stuff.
Yeah.
So I basically just whacked everything up to ultra or high. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little play about that. But first impressions are fairly positive.
Interesting. Okay, so for me, I think a lot of it's being marred by the fact that we can't access the driver licenses, because what that means is we can't access the other cars, so we're stuck with our 5 kind of starter cars. We can't access, obviously, that game mode, which is interesting. And also, we can't see the currency, we can't see the economy, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that we want to be able to see that we can't see yet, and it's not because it's not there, it's because it's not working. So that's obviously putting a bit of a grey cloud over things. I'd say in terms of the actual driving, what I've been saying on the stream is, it's nothing revolutionary. It doesn't feel like the next stage of sim racing has been unlocked. It feels, to me, like it's quite accessible and it feels quite friendly, user-friendly, but it still feels realistic. Is the impression I'm getting. Like I can get the car to step out, I can get it unbalanced, I make big mistakes, but it doesn't feel. It very quickly felt intuitive, and it feels, I would say, a tiny bit on the side of safe, rather than like really raw and visceral. But then at the same time, I'm driving road cars, right, not race cars, so it should be a bit soft and a bit fudgy. And I said the same in terms of Assetto Corsa. I said it's not exactly the same as Assetto Corsa, but it's not a massive. Like, I don't think this is steps and steps ahead of Assetto Corsa in terms of feeling. And visually, it looks a little bit soft. Like it looks. I don't think it looks bad. I actually think the interior looks good. I think the game looks fine, and I don't care about graphics as much as a lot of other people do, as long as it looks okay. But it does look a bit soft. It looks a little bit Forza-y in that sense.
It does, yeah.
But that's it. That's my impressions. I mean, I am happy with, like, I can definitely enjoy driving, and I'm enjoying the feeling of the cars, even if it's not perfect. It's not 10 out of 10, but it's good, and I'm happy about that. It's just all those other bits that we need to iron out. Oh, I've just been absolutely mullered by a Audi RS3
and
a Camaro. So yeah, Ross, for you guys watching the stream as well, Ross is going to be testing VR very soon. Now that hopefully you got the game working, you'll be able to give that a go, and we will of course bring you some gameplay footage as soon as we can of that. But so I see some people in the chat already have been giving VR a go, and it sounds like it's not perfect out the box, but that's not what you'd really expect. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
100%.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a solid kind of base at the moment. Like there's nothing particularly amazing, but there's nothing particularly that's concerning. Except obviously the issues, but it's release day and there's thousands of people trying to do the same thing at the same time, so
yeah. It'd be interesting if everyone stopped trying, if the online mode would actually work. But the thing that
everyone chat, stop playing, so we can find out if it works. Thank you.
100%. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, though, if the fact that nobody seems to be able to access it is a bad sign.
Yeah.
So someone says they have been able to go online for a few seconds, but I mean, so it's clearly there, but it's just not holding it. So yeah. By the way, while you were talking there, Ross, I had an Audi AI car. I don't think I did much to him. I kind of squeezed him a tiny bit, and he flew to the right of the road, completely lost control into turn 1 at Suzuka, and went flying across the infield over to the outside. So the AI are a bit, what's the word? You can see them taking, skittish. They take big swings when they feel a car's close to them. They'll kind of jerk to the side and take a big swing, and it can unsettle them quite a lot. Like, I've already seen a couple of Camaros going off in the Brands Hatch race I did, so I think the AI are definitely kind of, let's say, active.
Mentally.
Absolutely, yeah, they are a bit. I also found the AI setting. So I've been selecting 100%, but it seems to be the UI tells me when I launch the session that it's 97%. So that's a glitch.
Oh.
I don't know if it means that it's actually 100 and the visual glitch is that it's saying 97, or if the glitch is that it's not letting me go above 97. But when I'm not going single make, I seem to be a lot slower than some of the cars around me. Therefore, I'm not really able to test them. So what I might do is jump in a single make race next.
Yeah. So just a little bit buggy there. Perhaps.
Yes. Well, definitely, because if you select 100 and you get 97, that's horrendous. I'm also interestingly seeing whenever sorry about that, blocked an AI. Whenever an AI car goes off the track and gets an off-track penalty, it comes up on my screen as well, which I quite like. So in some games, in some games you think the AI are cheating or cutting the corners and they get away with it. Well, it's not going to happen in this game. Oh,
Cool.
I've been pitched. I've hit the mic, so yeah, the Camaro's just spun me out. Yeah, interesting. All right, well, thanks for the update, Ross, as well. Feel free to stick around or do whatever you need to do. Write 1,000 articles.
Yeah, don't fancy that. Were you able to change how rubbered in the track is?
I wasn't able to change any, so I was able to pick presets for the weather conditions.
Yeah, because I can't find that at all.
I can talk you through it on the menu if you want. I'm just watching back that horrendous moment with the Camaro. Yeah, there is a way to. So when you first start a session, that Camaro totally pitched me. You can choose like a preset for weather, but you can't seem to be able to choose you can't seem to be able to customize it other than just picking presets, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's just see.
Yeah, because there doesn't seem to be a way to, like, when you start a session, it tells you what the track state is.
Yeah.
And it's green by default, but I just can't see where you can set it.
Yeah.
To like rubbered in.
Yeah, I don't know if you can at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
But maybe that again, there's a lot of features that I haven't unlocked because
we need a license.
Exactly. So if I go to weather, I've got sky coverage, precipitation, fog, and wind, but I've got no track grip, and I can't click the custom button for anything. I can click dynamic instead of static, but that just means the clouds will move. I can't see it changing anything else. I've had a question on the stream from Lewis. Are the cars split between classes or supposed to be? Now, they do seem to have like a rating, so the car's got like a performance rating. So that, for example, the Honda's 4.5, the Abarth 4.7. I think it's a performance rating anyway. But I can't see any sign of classes, and the only option I've got at the moment, I can either race single make, so one car only, or I can do like every car. So, but obviously, it's all road cars in that race. Like even though the Porsche and the Ferrari, the 296 and there's some other supercars in there that are available, should be available in this early access launch. None of them were in the race, so there must be some sort of like inbuilt class system. That means I'm only racing against cars that are similar, albeit I was against a Camaro whilst driving a Hyundai Coupe, so not sure. I'm gonna do a single make race in the Cose.
Cause
The electric Alpha is surprisingly fast, Lewis, because I just drove it thinking it was going to be horrible, and it had a punch. Right, so leave AI on 100. We're going to go single make. So now I really just want to properly race against cars the same speed as me. See where we're at. Start from the middle of the pack. Where are we going to race?
I'm going to do a race at Brands Hatch Indy.
Nice.
And Causes.
I've done a Cause race. I've done a racer in Brands Hatch, so I'm gonna maybe go Imola. We'll see what happens.
The AI are very slow at starting. I have to say that.
Off the line.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe I'm just a big cheat.
I haven't raced in the rain. Yeah, so I will. Team UFO. I will give a race in the rain a go next. I'm just playing around with different things here, so yeah. Stick with me for that one. I've got some questions about sense of speed, FOV options. We'll look into that as well. Sorry, Michael, no free roam yet. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Nice to see you. Yeah, so settings-wise, I don't think we can change that much right now. like audio is just what you'd expect. We can change the resolution, we can change the the frame rate limit. I'm limited to 60 anyway, but obviously I've put that to full just so there's no limitations there. Triple screen, you can see VSync's off. Graphics, I've got on ultra, so this is the best they're going to look, and the frame rate for me is fine. I'm not finding any performance issues on ultra compared to what I had it on, which was kind of in the middle at the start. Although there do seem to be some random little performance issues no matter what you set the graphics to, so that's it. Oh yeah, opening verdict, Adam. I'll get to that. I'll get to that because I'll get on track and we'll get there. But definitely mixed, definitely mixed. Good fundamentals. I'm enjoying the driving, but everything around that at the moment either needs fixed because it's not working or can do with improvements. I'm just seeing if there's any settings options to change, like the FOV or anything, control options. This is all like drone, moving backwards, pitching up, pitching down, rolling. I'm not seeing any FOV specific options here, so I don't think you could obviously move the camera around. Maybe you can move the cockpit camera around. I could maybe give it a go, but not looking perfect. Yeah, okay, so I can move the cockpit camera, but obviously that's not the FOV, but I can move the position, so and it's very easy, just a button you can assign, so that's good. Force feedback I will chat about during this run, but we also want to see the AI. So again, this is on full AI, the highest I can set it to. Not sure if it's glitching to 97 or if it's actually at 100. But as Ross said before, off the line they are really slow, and again, I jumped about 6 positions just by literally nailing it off the start line, no clutch or anything. Nothing I did good. But I do like the force feedback of the Cosy, I'll be honest. I'm using SimuCube 2 Pro, but the steering wheel's the Valo. I can't remember GT Valo or Valo GT. I can't remember the order, but it's quite new to me, so it's great. Okay, so very easily up to P4 in this race. Full FOV pitch is available. Check the settings. Interesting. Send it in. Let's pause it and have another look then. Let's see. So obviously you've got huge amounts of that's just lots of options for normal kind of car settings, so your traction control, your pit limiter, all that kind of stuff. So where can I find FOV? View settings, you missed it. Hang on a minute, where did I go? View settings, not in settings, in the escape menu. Ah, okay. Hang on. Ah! Thank you guys, thank you. Okay, and looking at this, so immediately I'm gonna presume if I just change to like cockpit with the wheel on, yeah, so that's easy to fix that, but you can do that manually anyway. Same with lateral, that's all good. FOV straight away there, so you've got 60, you can go up to 90, and then down to 10. So decent range on the FOV. Should be able to find something that suits you. Honestly, I'm just going to stick to default for me for now, just because this is what most people are going to experience when they first drive the game. You'll obviously know your own FOV level and you can set it accordingly. Pitch you can also change. And the best thing about this is you can change it whilst you can see the angle behind you, so that makes it really easy. 10 degrees FOV challenge. Yeah, we can do 10. We can do 10. Sorry for the talking, not driving. I'm trying to show everyone what I can about the game, talk about the feelings, whilst also showing the racing as much as possible. So I am going to be switching quite a lot between the two. Apologies if it's not exactly what you're looking for. I can enable a virtual mirror. Interesting. Yeah, let's try the 10 FOV driving challenge for like one corner. Here we go. This is like British touring cars in the 90s, this. Let's go for a move. Didn't make it.
Weirdly,
FOV challenge over.
cars disappear in the rear view mirror in the cockpit.
Interesting, I'll check that now,
Like,
actually.
Once, I think it's once after they get like half a second back, they completely disappear.
Yeah, interesting.
Strange.
Let me, so I will go back into those settings, guys, explore them further, but we're just going to do a little bit more driving. They've dropped back into apparently 5th position, so now that everyone, after the first lap where I think AI are pretty slow, let's see how challenging it is on maximum settings. Yeah, cars do disappear of what I'm hearing. Yeah, I can, okay, I just saw it in my mirror. Just as so if you look in the kind of center of the car rear view mirror, once they get a certain distance back, they just pop out. So there's definitely a distance limit on there, rather than anything else.
I'm pleased to say as well, dynamic weather works perfectly. So I'm just doing a Brands Hatch race, and I'm on lap 4. And it started off sunny, and now it's pouring down with rain.
Oh!
And I forgot to map windscreen wipers, so it's becoming quite challenging.
How did you manage to make it, so you obviously can do static or dynamic. So when you say it rained after the first lap, did you set it to rain, but then it started dry?
No, so I set it to dynamic weather, the race started dry, and 4 laps in, it started to rain. The end of lap 3, it started to rain.
Okay, so dynamic weather is just a setting that allows you to, it just does it for you. You don't have to pick any weather conditions.
Yep.
Interesting.
And it's weird because, as well, the roadmap was announced, and
Yes.
it said something with dynamic weather was going to appear in like version 1.0. But obviously, there's a version of it.
Yeah.
It should be a rudimentary version of it, and
Yeah.
early access as well.
There's not custom dynamic weather at this point.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do that. No, so.
Midlife Crisis guy, I think you might be watching slightly behind live, if you see this in 2 minutes time. Because I think, yeah.
Midlife Crisis guy, is that on me?
Yeah, well, are you still commenting on the view settings?
No.
The AI are pretty rubbish in terms of speed. Don't just quote me on rubbish, but slow, yes. I mean, I'm driving around Dimble. I've done, 1.5 laps now of this car and this track, and yes, it's not the hardest car to drive, and I know the track, but on 100 AI, the car in the lead just got the worst exit I've ever seen in my life, and I've just gone past him about 20 miles an hour quicker. So even on 100, there's no setting for aggression or anything, so I'm running the hardest possible AI right now. I'm clearly, they are aggressive. He's just tried to spin me off again. They're clearly, they've clearly got a bit of like aggression to them. They're clearly willing to make moves and not worried about pushing you out of the way if you're blocking them, like we saw earlier with the Camaro. But they're just not fast enough. Like, you know, I should not be able to do 2 laps on 100% and go from, 10 FOV challenge in the gravel on lap 1 and everything, and still easily make my way back to the lead within a lap. That's just not good enough. And the leader, when there's no traffic around, was still getting a terrible exit from corners where they shouldn't have got a terrible exit. It's almost as if they missed a gear. So I'm not impressed by the maximum speed of the AI. When there's no multiplayer, you need to have something, yes, everyone can set it to the level that they're at, but if 100 is like, 4 or 5 seconds slower than it should be, or not saying it is that much slower, but that just means that anyone who's, got lots of experience and is pretty quick are going to instantly, find the AI pointless.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm on 100 AI as well at Brands Hatch, and I can't see where I'm going, and it's wet. I'm still like destroying AI at the moment.
Yeah, I will race in the wet as well. I've not raced the AI properly in the wet, and I'll do that next. Can you feel the 4-wheel drive system helping you in the wet, Nikosi?
Honestly, I don't really notice a huge difference in the wet. Like, it doesn't feel super slippy or anything. So I wonder if it's like
not wet
still
enough.
To be fully implemented. It appears to be raining quite heavily, so I would expect like some kind of like slipperiness.
I've done a couple of runs in the wet, and I tried normal rain first rather than heavy rain, and the normal rain was I would say it was kind of generally just a bit slippier, and you could still feel certain things getting worse. Like you could feel over curbs and things like that, it got a bit slippier. It was subtle, but it was definitely there. Then when I set it to heavy rain and there was standing water and stuff, I really could feel it then, because I was experiencing aquaplaning. I was experiencing the curbs, losing all the grip there, the puddles, the locking up, the not quite feeling where the car was underneath you. That was all there. So I wonder if it's more just to do with the amount of rain.
Yeah, so I've not seen any puddles or felt any puddles yet, so maybe it's just at that point where it's lighter kind of rain.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're driving a road car with road tyres, then you're not going to feel a huge difference until you get that extra sort of level of moisture from the track.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, you may have noticed the position indicator is definitely slow to update. It's not live. I think it's by sector, or it refreshes every 10 seconds, because there's times where it tells you you're in a position and you're like, hang on a minute, and then obviously you do a few more corners and it's fixed. So that's something to bear in mind. I'm going to do a wet race, guys, next. So we'll see how that is. I'm going to try what Ross said. So for you to get dynamic weather, how did you... So what preset were you on when you clicked the dynamic button?
I think I just clicked dynamic, straight away.
Ah, okay.
I think it's at the bottom.
Yeah.
In the bottom settings. So once you click dynamic, you don't get any other options, so it just sort of... Obviously, it randomises what weather you start with.
Yeah. Okay, I will try that out. Welcome, Midlife Crisis Guy. Back to current time. Back to the current time zone. Handling. Yeah, so force feedback, feeling, physics, I'd say definitely one of the strong points so far. I've been saying it's not groundbreaking or spectacular. I'd say if anything, it's slightly on the safe side. Whether that's to do with accessibility, I don't know, but I'm not saying it's unrealistic. I do think it's feeling realistic. The sensations are realistic. The understeer you can feel. The under braking you can feel the weight shift and everything. The tire model I feel is good. It's hard to know straight away, obviously, and you're really clutching at very small sample sizes, but I feel like I can feel the tires underneath me, if that makes sense. I can feel when they're loaded up. I can feel when they're when they're about to lose grip and all that kind of stuff, and it's quite intuitive. And we're obviously driving road cars, so all I can test is a kind of soft, bouncy road car in terms of suspension and feel, but clearly the suspension is having a big impact on the handling. I think that's one of the positives so far, is the overall feel. It's good. I like it. And if you can apply that to free roam and all these cool things, career mode, across lots and lots of different cars, which they're going to have to get the physics right for, it's a really good starting spot, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's more Assetto Corsa than Assetto Corsa Competizione, but it's it's Assetto Corsa Plus, I think, at the moment.
yeah, that's totally fair. And it looks a bit soft, which sometimes looks can make you feel things as well. Interesting what I noticed about the tracks as well. It does definitely seem like the Imola circuit looks very similar to the ACC Imola. But that makes sense, because the ACC Imola was, it was an addition later on down the line. It was 3 or 4 years into the game that Imola came to the game, and this feels like the same scan, or a very similar looking scan. Laguna, on the other hand, felt and looked very different to ACC. So I think it's track specific. See what you think of Laguna when you drive it, Ross. But especially the penultimate turn, the tarmac area on the inside, the corkscrew, the tarmac color, and just the general profile of it. It feels like a different version of Laguna than I've ever driven before.
Interesting. Of course, the 5 early access tracks were all in ACC, weren't they? Imola, Bathurst, Brands Hatch, Suzuka, and one other that I can't remember.
Mount Panorama. Did you say that?
I said that one, yeah.
Brands, Mount Panorama, Imola, Suzuka, Laguna.
That's it. Yeah, so they were all in ACC, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Are they basically being lifted directly from ACC, or?
Yeah, maybe a mixture. Maybe a mixture, depending on how new they are. Or, I mean, at the end of the day, a track doesn't necessarily have to change much in 4 years. But at the same time, if a track gets updated in the off season, it could change loads in 6 months.
Yeah.
I am interesting. Matthias has noticed this as well. I'm now 8.2 seconds ahead of the AI in a 5-lap race where I went off the circuit on lap 1, started from 10th. I'm racing on the hardest possible AI setting, and I'm clearly not nailing this. I'm driving okay. But there's obviously lots of room for improvement. I've been chatting away, and yeah, I'm probably now 10 seconds. I'm saying that, 7 point... What just happened? 7.7 seconds clear, and I've missed the corner because I'm looking at the lap timer. But yeah, it's the AI don't seem like they're optimized yet, as I was saying before.
Yeah, and they need levels of speed.
How does this compare to Forza Motorsport? I'd say driving-wise, I much prefer this.
Better, yes.
Much prefer this. But I am very critical of Forza Motorsport. Personally, I'm not a fan at all of the overall experience and the game as a whole. I think it's good for some people and it's good for a controller and it's good, you know, there's positives to it, but I never think it feels good when I jump on it. I still think it feels broken and glitchy. Already this feels like a step up to drive, but obviously way more limited in terms of content. Visually, similar sort of soft style, but again, I mean, so far visually I'm not seeing many glitches, I have to be honest. Have you noticed any big glitches? Other than offline mode and everything.
Yeah, how long you got? I mean, there is some graphical glitches. There is a bit of like screen tearing and stuff like that. As I said, a bit of slowdown, but you know, I'm trying to play this at like ultra graphic settings, with AI cars, and it's an early access game, so
yeah,
we're kind of pushing it to the limit here. So I think if I turned the graphic settings down, it would run so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had issues like certain controls as well, so
doesn't help.
yeah. But like I've managed to get around it, and it's fine. I'm playing the game. It is okay. You know, it's hard to judge. It's not terrible. I don't know what other YouTube streamers and stuff are saying, but to me it feels quite good.
Yeah.
It looks decent. It's ticking the boxes, you know. It's an early access release with like 20 cars and 5 tracks. It's not feature rich yet, so
yeah.
We have to like possibly lower our expectations a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we went into this early access thinking it's going to be early access. So I've seen a lot of comments coming in about modding and stuff like that compared to AC. I will cover that as well. Ross makes a very good point. Like, it's early access. There are lots of things that can be improved on this and will be improved on this. The potential and the groundworks are the most important thing, but that doesn't mean you can't be annoyed at things that are not great when they've spent as long as they have developing it, and they've still sold you, even though it's early access, they've still sold you this product's in early access, so you want it to be of a certain level, but you've also got to be aware that it's going to get better. And I think, you know, looking at Le Mans Ultimate as an example, Le Mans Ultimate was really rocky at the start, but you could tell the foundations were great, right? It wasn't clean, there was lots of glitches, there were bad loading times. It's still not great, and there's still a lot of missing features, but fundamentally that's a fantastic game, and already now it's a long way ahead of where it was. And I think we've just got to be patient with this, and I would say the foundations are there, but that doesn't mean I'm super happy. Just want to check this though. Come into the pit lane. I haven't even checked if there is a pit lane, but there clearly is. Obviously you drive out of the pits during the session, so I know there's a pit lane, but can you do pit stops and stuff? I'm not sure, and I probably can't tell right now because I'm driving into the pit lane after the race is over. But I did finish 12 seconds ahead of second place with the full AI in 5 laps, despite all the crashes. So yeah, let's write off the AI level for now. Oh, there's a pit box. Okay, there's a pit box, and it lagged horrendously when I drove into the pit box. I'll try a pit stop mid-race maybe and see if that does anything. People asking about mods. First of all, do performance. A lot of people talking about performance. Unfortunately, I've got a very beefy PC. From my perspective, it's been like no matter what I set the graphics to, fully ultra, middle of the road, it seems to be performing the same. It's pretty clean, but there are some little momentary lapses, little stuttering, a little bit of FPS drops here and there, especially with the HUD, for example. But overall, it performs absolutely fine. It's clearly got a lot of potential there. But I can't talk, obviously, on behalf of people that don't have big specs, so I'm sorry to all of you who are wondering about performance, because that's just not something I can answer. So hopefully the more people will, people that have experienced it themselves will be able to help you with that. And minimum specs that are recommended are available on the Traxion website. AC mods versus this, I mean, that's such a big, this is not there yet. It clearly has potential to be better than AC because it is a slight jump, a slight evolution, and it's a lot newer, but like the modding and things is just a whole grey area, really. Because yes, it will have mods, but the problem with a lot of old mods are they're not officially licensed, so it's very hard for them to speak about modding and speak about what's allowed and what can and can't be done because of all the licensing issues that come with modding. So talking about communities jumping from AC to AC Evo, we're really not going to be able to tell until the official modding system is introduced and we see how they go about approving mods, how they go about implementing them, and how that affects licensing. Because at the end of the day, as long AC's there already, it's got stuff, regardless of whether it's licensed or not. You can go and play it. Are you then going to go and play something where that's not able to happen from the start, but they offer you something else instead? That's just going to be a question that's probably going to take a year to answer anyway. We were going to try a race in the wet. Should we go heavy rain?
Sorry, interestingly, the replay mode works.
Yes,
kind of.
Yeah, so what I found with the replay mode is it's just a bar with a play button, but if you scroll to the bottom of the screen, the bar does disappear, so you can get a clean looking replay, and you can change the camera angle using the preset buttons, but it's not like a UI option.
Yeah, but because it was a wet race, weirdly, there is no, like, the tarmac isn't wet in the replay.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's a bit of a bug, but yeah, it looks okay. And there's a nice groovy soundtrack as well when you play a replay.
Yes, I noticed that. Hopefully you can turn that off. Because if not, all of the traction videos with the Assetto Corsa is going to be muted, or it's going to have very out of point music. Hello, Creeper Green Gaming. Welcome to the stream. Do you have to join immediately, or will I survive some time without it? 100% you'll survive time without it. I still have really high hopes and expectations about this game, and that's not going to change based on just this playthrough, because I know that the fundamentals feel good. The FFB feels pretty good to me. The physics feel pretty good to me. It looks good enough. All of these things can be worked on and improved anyway, and the main thing for me is that the game modes they've announced and that they will be implementing sound exciting. So is it a must play right now? Absolutely not, because there's there's a practice mode. There's quick races against AI that are clearly not optimized. There's very limited cars and tracks, although the cars will, once they fix the offline-online issue, you should be able to actually save up money, buy cars, etc. But don't feel like you're missing out on something huge if you don't buy this right now. All you're missing out on is trying it, and it's exciting because it's another racing game and it's another Assetto Corsa game, and until you play it, you don't know what it feels like. So it's exciting because you want to know. But no, you're absolutely within your right to hold off until it's a more complete game and go for it then. Let's do
Quick
a race.
update, that's
Sorry.
okay. Producer Tom interrupting the stream again. Apologies. But just to say that they are working on expanding the offline mode to include all the cars, quote unquote, as fast as possible.
So is this like a kind of hot fix to try and get over this issue of the servers not working?
I don't know. This is from Davide Brivio, but I'm not sure. There's no timeline on that.
Yeah.
It seems like it's not an infrastructure issue, it's a software issue according to them. We're working on a build to expand the offline mode. So there's two things here at play, isn't there? There's the fact that, okay, there's a bug at the minute, which means we cannot be online mode to access the cars and the customization and all the game modes, like special events and driver academy. But then the other thing is, even if it wasn't a bug, you can still only drive 6 cars if you're not connected to the internet, which is very interesting. So
yeah,
we'll have to see how that plays out over the coming months. And then the other thing, John, is I think you mentioned there that you felt like the FFB was quite good. If you could just explain to the audience what wheel you're using and what wheelbase, because I have seen some comments on different devices saying FFB is terrible. So maybe it's a device-specific thing.
It could be. So if you've just joined, it's the SimuCube 2 Pro. Let me just make sure that I get the name of the steering wheel right, because it's...
Well, it's important to say that SimuCube, because before this early access build launched, Kunos published a force feedback guide. Again, we can put it on the Traxion website. And there was like 5 or 6 wheel manufacturers that they'd worked directly with to provide the best settings. But for example, a lot of specific Moser and Fanatec devices were on that list. It was only certain ones. And also there's no Thrustmaster optimization seemingly at the minute, and which are very popular wheels. So just have to bear in mind that even the wheel force feedback setup is early access still. And also that Kunos is recommending specific settings as opposed to just plug and play. I've seen some streams where they've just fired it up and not adjusted the settings to match the recommended ones, and then perhaps the force feedback isn't quite as ideal as they expect, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's kind of what we experienced at the Expo as well, from the kind of earlier
Yeah.
build, right, where different setups felt very, very different. And I think it will take time to dial in good settings. But what I can say from the recommended manufacturer settings that I went for from SimuCube, which you can find on the Traxion channel, it straight out the box felt absolutely fine. Like, you know, obviously I don't know about some of the finer details, like the curbs that I said were feeling a little bit numb earlier. I don't know if that's the game or the settings, but it didn't feel, I didn't instantly think, oh wow, the force feedback's not right here. Like, it feels absolutely fine. Just while you were talking there, Tom, I've got some basic setup changes I can make to the Honda. So we're going to do a wet race in the S2000 to see how the AI cope in the rain. Front, you can change the ride height, and when you do change the ride height, when it was showing the car in the paddock, which it's now not doing, it does actually show you the ride height changing live, so you can see the car moving up and down, right front and rear. So that's cool. I can change the fuel. I can actually change. Oh, weird. Fuel and strategy. All I can change actually is the tire compound. So I've got eco, I've got road, and I've got supercar. So that's interesting. Even on a Honda S2000, I can put on eco tires or supercar tires. So that's worth bearing in mind. No race tires there. And I can change the pressure, the toe, the camber, and the caster. So we do have basic setup changes. Electronics is a Honda S2000. That's probably why you can't change those settings. Suspension and dampers, maybe in the race cars you can change them, but maybe not. We can't find out because we don't have access to them. So there you go. Did you actually get the number right? Oh my goodness, Creeper Green Gaming. That is, that's my name, isn't it? Incredible. How long did it take you to write that comment? Yeah, I don't think you can put the roof up. Oh, there's my driver as well with his open face helmet. Is there an option to put the roof up? That's what I'm going to find out now. I doubt it in early access. But I'm not going to... Oh, wait. Retractable something. That's toggles. So you can do retractable headlights. That's cool.
But you'd prefer to have the roof down so you could hear the VTECs kick in.
Well, you say that. But then when I drove the Honda earlier, there was a strange thing with the audio when I was driving at Bathurst where the car would go suspiciously quiet at random moments. It didn't feel like anything on track changed. It wasn't like I drove away from another car. It was just when I was out on my own, there seemed to be a kind of change in volume level, which I didn't quite understand. So I'll keep an eye on that, but not seeing anything for roof up or down, so I'm going to presume that's not a thing right now. Someone in the comments please scream at me if that's not true.
Sorry, I've been informed by Tom Bunton to shout out to Sally and her son who are watching.
Oh! Oh!
Yeah,
sorry, shout out to them, but that's just, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, let me just go full screen. That's not great. We're starting the race underground, I think, so that's the first big glitch we've had. Let's just, escape. Okay. First glitch to, what are we, 2 hours, 10 minutes or something into the stream? Interesting. I've still got the game on, so you can see if the game's going to crash or not. Sorry for interrupting your shout out there, Tom. Hello, Sally.
Oh, I found another graphical glitch. So I picked Honda S2000 at Suzuka, nighttime, and it's so strange. It's like the ghosting, like the wing mirror is ghosting on the driver's side.
Oh yeah, that's strange.
Which is a little bit disconcerting.
Yeah. I've restarted the session here at Brands Hatch, and it's still looking pretty broken, so we may have to do a quick reset. It's also very laggy. I can't really click things very quickly, so I'm going to click restart one more time. Try not to let the wheel break my wrists. So, first major bug, and then Ross also experienced a bit of a bug at the same time.
It looks very nice though. Like the kind of, it's overcast conditions, so it's a little bit foggy. But like the circuit lighting kind of makes it quite atmospheric. So I like that.
That's good. The sky color was quite nice as well when you were switching between, but it did look a bit flat to me. Like the color was nice, but then it kind of lost a lot of detail. But that was really early on, and I was trying it on ×48 speed in terms of the lighting change, so that could have also had an impact. Yeah, this is broken. We're gonna have to quit this session and try again. So, if the game will actually let me do it. Guys, if they do fix if they do fix this single player situation where you can actually go online and access things, I might do another stream. We're going to be doing videos as well. Obviously, we don't know at what time they're going to fix things, at what time it's going to work. So we will be bringing you videos, which I still obviously need to film because we've got this, obviously just got access to the game and we've gone live straight away. But if it's fixed and the timing works out, we might also try and organise a stream just to experience the real game, because license tests, money, buying cars, trying faster cars is a big part of what's going to make this enjoyable on day one or week one. Once you've driven the 5 cars 1,000 times, it's going to get a bit boring. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out. I'm unable at the moment to quit this session, so it's not looking good. May have to do a quick reset. Oh, there we go. That took about 30 seconds, but we've got the option to quit. Come on, you can do it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this anyway. Prices. So the prices are, it's slightly reduced now for the first couple of weeks if you get it. So I think it's, am I right in saying, I don't know if you can remember, Ross, was it $24.39 or something?
Yeah, quite random.
$24.39.
The RRP for US and European countries is $39.99, but it's now at $31.99 for the next 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. So it's $31.99 US dollars. It's $24.39 or whatever it was, pounds, British pounds. Don't know about euros, and that's on it's on a 20% discount, I believe, for the next few weeks. So it will go up a bit if you don't get it in the next few weeks. So bear that in mind. But keep an eye on the Traxion website for any updates on stuff like that. We've managed to restart the session here, so let's see if I can actually get into a race. It's black at the moment. No, I think it's broken. It's fully broken. So that's, something's not worked there. Whether it's the track needs changed, whether it's the weather, because I set it to heavy rain and dynamic. I don't know if that's causing issues.
We just try to check the Traxion website to confirm the prices, and there is a lot of Assetto Corsa Evo articles on the website at the moment. So if you want to read up a little bit more on some of the details, and visit TraxionGG.
Right, we're trying this one more time. We've changed the weather to static, but still heavy rain. We've kept the same car, but I've changed to a different version of the car, because I still want to drive the Honda, but I'm wondering if changing the version fixes any glitches. We'll just have to wait and see. But if not, we might have to reboot the game, work things out. GPU question. It's a 3090, but you can see all the PC specs in the description below, so check them out.
Just to confirm as well, it's £26.39 for the next 2 weeks.
How much, sorry, Ross?
£26.39.
I gave misinformation. 26.39, not 24.39. There we go.
Yes,
yeah, the full screen thing won't make a difference, I don't think, to this. It feels like whatever I've done to break this now, it seems to be quite permanent. Oh! Who said full screen? Who said full screen? Thank you, Alex. I was like, oh, I don't think this is going to make a difference to this. Instantly fixed it. Savior, thank you so much. Okay, so that's weird. If you're playing the game and you fall through the bottom of the ground and you fall into the depths of Kent's core, to get back out and back to the surface, change the game from full screen to normal, and then you're safely back in.
Or phone Jonathan Palmer for a tow.
Yeah, but it will cost you a lot. Right.
Oh yes.
Let's see what happens. See, the UI is very. If you saw the steering's not straight. If you saw the bottom right there, the rev counter, it was really, really laggy when you're waiting for the race to start, which is interesting.
What do you think about the UI in general? Because I feel like it's a bit clunky, possibly. Like when I'm trying to adjust settings, like control settings especially, like you have to go through you change all your kind of mappings and stuff, and then you've got to like move your cursor down to apply before you do the next thing, and then it just feels like it could be a bit slicker.
Yeah. I honestly, I've not really formed too much of an opinion on it yet. I think it's fairly relatively dull, but I think it's quite clean look. I like the look of it. In terms of functionality, as you say, there's a few options that are not where you'd expect them to be, but there's always going to be a little bit of that while you get used to it. So for me, I wouldn't say I dislike it yet, and I wouldn't say I love it yet. I think I'm still forming my opinions on it. So yeah, it's interesting. I have noticed as well, I've just got in this race, Ross, and the FPS did seem to drop quite considerably on the first lap. It's better now. The spray is really working well. I can't really see much when I'm following the AI in the spray, but when I was close to the cars, there was a bit of lag. What's the do you know what's the shortcut again to bring up your kind of FPS and stuff, your stats live on the actual, like, your proper you know what I mean? What's the shortcut?
No idea.
I can't remember it. If someone in the chat remembers the shortcut to bring up the FPS and the graphic settings and all that, let me know. It's Alt something. I cannot remember. And I don't want to press the wrong one in case I completely break the stream. Yeah, convertible in the rain, roof down. Oh, see how slow the AI are. I've crashed into them so many times because they stop on the apex. Oh yeah, so Alt Z brings up NVIDIA and then I can turn it on from there, can't I? So that's a good point. I forgot you can actually just turn it on. Alt R. So let's do that. So you can hopefully see. Okay, bad start. It's exactly where my face is. So let me just pause and move that. I don't know if this is going to be out of the way or not, so let's see. Oh, you guys can't see that, of course. Hang on, let me go display capture. There we go. Grey skies, so you might not be able to see it very well. But let's see. It was pretty. I think it was down to like 30 or something. Yeah, also bear in mind, like, take all these stats with a pinch of salt, because I'm obviously streaming at the same time. I've got the overlay up, which can crunch things. There's lots of things that are... there's lots of variables at play, so just remember all of that when you're looking at performance, and obviously remember my PC is very beefy as well. I'm running on max graphics. I've gone into the gravel. Gravel simulation is top-notch. That was not. Have you been in the gravel yet, Ross? Are you as bad as me?
Yes.
It's pretty good, isn't it? It sucks you in.
Yeah, it's difficult to escape.
Yeah, look at this. So in the heavy rain with lots of cars in front of me, I'm dropping down to about 30 FPS. That's with obviously the graphics overlay up. But yeah, it is down to 30. I'm on max quality settings as well, guys. So I'm gonna go and adjust that and see what difference it makes. This is just a bit horrendous at the moment, and the cars around me are driving so slowly at the apex. Let's bang those settings down. So just as a little test, let's just bump them down from ultra to like medium, and we'll see if it makes a difference in these conditions, or if it crashes the game. That's also an option. Yeah, the gloves is an interesting one. It's kind of, we've got to a weird state, isn't it, where a simulation is so realistic that your driver obviously is not wearing gloves while driving a road car, because they wouldn't do that in real life, even though you definitely would wear gloves if you're on a track day, by the way. But then me sitting in a sim, not racing in real life, I am wearing gloves because my steering wheel requires gloves with the Alcantara and stuff. Like, this weird situation to be in where a game is not needing gloves and I am. Yeah. That's interesting. Right, let's see if the FPS is better now. I've changed it down to medium. So I need to keep an eye on the driving. You guys can watch the FPS counter for me. But yeah, the AI, just when they pack up, they're just not. They're not great, and also even when they're on their own, they're too slow. So, I've just noticed something as well. Car damage. So there's no visual damage, but I've now, my entire body, my entire chassis down the bottom is orange. So that tells me there is actually vehicle damage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed any of that, Ross.
I'm such a clean driver, of course yes, I have.
the one positive to come from this particular session, so obviously the FPS has dropped. It's much better now that I'm running, it's 50 FPS now that I've lowered the graphics settings. Obviously, again, with the caveats, the AI. But it is better. So yeah, you might have to turn down your settings in the rain. But obviously, for those of you with a weaker PC, rain might actually be enough to really destroy your experience. So bear that in mind. Visual damage, I don't think there's anything at all. But clearly, according to the HUD anyway, I've got actual damage. Can I feel it? Don't know yet. That was shocking. The one positive takeaway from this session, though, which I'm going to restart actually and do a proper race, is the handling of the S2000 in the rain. If you get away from the AI a little bit, which I'll try and do by driving better at the start, the handling in the rain feels pretty good. Like the force feedback feels nice. I can slide the car in. I've had because I race in the UK and I'm from Scotland. I've had tons of experience driving in the rain around British circuits in rear-wheel drive cars like this, because I've driven a lot of MX-5s. I've raced a lot of MX-5s. I've raced in the wet at Brands in an MX-5 multiple times, and the way I was able to slide the car around there and feel it all on the road tires, I think that was really impressive, and it felt pretty realistic. So that's a big positive. Triple support is there, but I'm not racing on triples. I'm just going on single screen for now. Wheel wasn't straight. Okay, so off the line, I've gone from 10th to P1 just by having my foot on the accelerator fully, or P2 I should say. So that's, yeah, less said about that the better. Oh, see so the AI Ross at the bottom of Paddock Hill, the leading AI car, as it got to the bit where you nail the throttle and go straight up the hill, it slammed on the brakes.
Yeah.
That's not good. Right, now we're out in front. Let's see if A, the FPS increases. It already feels slightly better, to be fair. And B, let's see if I can really test the handling, because the way I feel like I'm able to slide this car around in the wet is very encouraging at this early stage. So you can see how much slower I have to go, and you can see the understeer happening, even on the power in third gear. This, bearing in mind, this Honda S2000 is not a super powerful car. I think they produce around, I don't even know how much horsepower they produce, 200 or something?
200, yeah.
Yeah. So, in the dry, you shouldn't really be able to spin it that easily unless you just are really irresponsible with your throttle. In the wet, though, it's different. It's a different story, and that's how it feels at the moment. I feel like I can steer the car with the throttle. Like there, for example. Grass is slippier. GR86 will be very similar, so we can use a bit of throttle. Well, there, so I turned and tried to use the throttle to rotate the rear end, and it didn't go, it understeered, so that, in real life, I think if you did that, the rear would overtake the front and you would spin. But in this game there, the front lost grip first, which obviously does happen in certain situations if you lock up the fronts or you try and turn too fast and you're understeering. But when I was on the power, I would have thought that the rears would try and overtake the front there, and they didn't. So that's the first kind of, I would say, not perfect experience. I will try maybe wet lines in this race. Sorry, Ross.
Sorry, because they're road cars as well, they will have like the default kind of ABS and traction control settings like applied.
Yes. As
they would on the road car.
I noticed that earlier actually as well with the Alpha. Even though I've turned them all off, it still had them on because of the cars had them. Yeah. Obviously a Honda S2000 has none of that, which is great. As far as I can work out anyway. Yeah, so driving over the puddle there, I put the foot down just to see what would happen, and I did lose the rear. So that's what should happen, the rear overtaking the front. But obviously I was maybe going a slightly lower speed. But it went quite quickly when it snapped there. Let's try and not get damage. But as a car and track combo, like I actually forget the AI. I actually kind of want the AI to go away right now, which is not a good sign. But if you forget about them, the actual the driving experience of driving this car in the wet around Brands Hatch is probably it might be my new #1 experience so far, and that's coming from the same person who about 2 hours ago drove the Honda amongst the other cars, the Ford Cosy and the Volkswagen, and actually said the Honda was the most disappointing. So interesting that in the wet, in this particular session, the Honda's giving me lots of really good feelings. So that's something at least. I'm gonna try and set a good lap time next, and then maybe I think I can probably finally test the wet lines versus the dry lines. So if after this lap, if I try and just set a good lap time using kind of dry lines, and then I'll switch to what I would do in the wet, or try to anyway, if I'm good enough to do it, then we can see how the lap times compare. So that's hopefully going to give us some idea. Oh no! I've lost it again. Ross, when was the last time we raced together as teammates and I didn't crash us or go off the circuit and ruin our race? Can you remember?
A year and a half ago, I think.
No, I think a year and a half ago I binned it at Road America, did I not? That was a year and a half ago.
I did an ACC race at Watkins Glen.
Oh, I didn't bin it then, did I? But I got close to.
We won that one.
Oh, did we win that? Oh yeah, we did. So we did. Yeah, the car. Yeah, interesting. I hadn't even thought about that. Good observation. Obviously, I've got the roof down in the Honda, and I can't put the roof up, but the driver is remaining completely dry. Let's just say I'm not surprised that that exacting detail's not been simulated quite yet. This is properly wet. But that is interesting. Yeah, my hands and my driver and the steering wheel are all completely dry. So that's maybe there's an invisible roof. Okay.
So, talking about like the driving assist and stuff like that, I've tried to go into like the car setup screen, drive the Hyundai i30. So it's got like stability control or traction control or something, and it means I can't like do some proper front wheel drive like oversteer moments.
Yeah.
So I've tried to go into like the setup menu, and the electronics section's like blanked out, so you can't change that yet.
Okay.
I looked at it.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if that was car specific or if that was just general, but sounds like it could be general, really, based on that.
Yeah.
We'll have to. The thing is, that's the sort of thing we're going to know a lot more about once we unlock the race cars as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like damper settings and those kind of things. I could change the ride height, and I could change the tire compound, and I could change like the tires, so like the the camber, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I've been trying to do a good lap here, guys, to try and compare wet lines and dry lines, but I keep being an idiot and spinning. So I think I'll just try wet lines next and see if I can feel a difference out the box. It's just hard when you're trying to learn early on. It's difficult because you're still obviously finding your way with the game. You don't have a complete overview of how it's meant to feel quite yet, so it might be difficult to perceive. But if it's obvious, then I should be able to perceive it just fine. Yes.
Just on the driving assist, it's Tom here again. Sorry to interrupt. And I think Ross, you were saying about the Hyundai i30N, you can't turn off stability control, and I could say as a former owner of that car, you can definitely fully disable that in the real world. So it's definitely
Did you have to cut a few cables though, Tom?
No.
It's an early access thing, probably.
No. Yeah, it's probably an early access thing. Hopefully they can update and improve that.
Okay, so I'm just before you continue as well, Tom. I'm about to go into Paddock Hill, and in real life, I got pole at Brands Hatch in the MX-5 on road tires because I used an incredibly wide line, just following the white line around. I copied my teammate who was doing it, and we were way quicker than everyone else. And let's just see if the grip's better on the outside. I still went wide. I still went onto the gravel. Okay, I need to try again next lap. But sorry to drop there, Tom. I just needed to, because there's a very clear example of where I know you can go quicker by going on the outside, and I was just trying to see if I could perceive a difference there.
That's a good point. Have you been doing some racing then in the real world, John? Because I read a YouTube comment the other day that said you've never driven any cars in real life. What do you know?
Yeah, it's a secret. My alter ego. My real name's not actually TraxionGG. My real name's John Monroe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you.
YouTube's John Monroe, yeah. Right, I'm going to leave you to it again. I'm going to put some sausages in the oven. Excellent.
Be sure to report back on how that is for the sake of our community.
I'm a bit too busy eating them.
That's fair. That's fair.
People can find out with my in-depth sausage review on the TraxionGG website tomorrow. Alright, and on that note, goodbye.
Thank you, Tom. Just going to try again. Outside line. I see. I know it maybe looks a bit silly what I'm doing there, and I just suddenly started understeering, but I don't know if there's much extra grip out there right now. It definitely feels... So there's less puddles on the outside, which is something. So it seems like the puddle formation seems more likely on the inside of a corner. Now that's... Whether that's accurate or not is a question that I'd have to really think about. Generally you find that like the racing line, when it starts to dry, obviously leaves puddles off the racing line, which often means leaving them on the outside of the circuit. But generally it totally depends on the banking of the corner. So, you know, if there's a corner that's banked, obviously the water's going to collect on the inside, which is the dry racing line, and that'll also promote the, you know, a good, strong, wet racing line around the outside. The reason that wet lines are what they are, and there's a lot more grip on the outside of the circuit, is because there's less rubber laid down. Like, as I go off into the gravel, don't listen to what I'm saying to you, clearly, because I can't talk from... I can talk about all the grip and then just go off the track, so it's obviously a waste of time. No, it's basically because when you're driving along the normal racing line, so your standard apexes and everything like that, you're depositing rubber onto the circuit, so you're essentially chunks of rubber are coming off the tyre and they're flying to the sides, and you're obviously rubbering up the racing line. There's more grip on it because there's more rubber laid down. It's a bit like how in Formula 1, you know, you tend to see the side of the grid that the racing line is on, they always get better starts off the line, they get better launch because there's just more rubber down on the tarmac, which gives you more grip. Now when it rains, the rain extracts oil from the tarmac where there's more, or from the rubber, because that's just how rubber is constructed and how it works with physics and rain and everything. So rain and water brings the oil to the top of the surface, and that's why suddenly when it's raining, the standard racing line with more rubber on it becomes the slippiest part, and the bits that become grippier are the bits that don't get used at all. But obviously that's one thing, and then the other thing is puddle buildup. So if the rain collects on the outside of a track, it might be that the inside is drier and the outside's wetter, but then the racing line is slippier. So, you know, is it slippier to drive through a puddle of water, or is it slippier to drive through a slightly drying racing line that's still a bit oily? Generally speaking, it's actually often grippier off the racing line. But obviously the other thing you can do is drive along the middle of the circuit or something like that, you know, where the racing line's on the inside, stick to the middle, just get off that rubbered in line, but don't go all the way out to the outside, and you'll be alright. But as I say, that Brands Hatch example at turn 1, I actually found the most grip was right on against the white line, as close to the white line as possible. For some reason it was way grippier there. So yeah, so far on this I would say that I'm not noticing a remarkable difference, but I would say there does seem to be, that's gone off again, there does seem to be a little bit more overall grip slightly off the racing line, I would say that. Maybe 5% or something, but I'm not using it very well yet at the moment, and less standing water as well. Yeah, obviously this is early access as well. I'm really intrigued to see what the discourse is following this. Oh, you can actually see. Sorry, I keep shooting between different things here. You can see the dry line appearing on the actual racing line there, which was interesting. So now that we're 5 laps into the race, you can really clearly see where the racing line is. So that's interesting. Right, guys, I think we do one more session for now, and then we're going to call it a day, because we still don't have online mode, so really we're essentially playing a limited version of a limited game in early access. And I think we've explored a lot of different areas. Let me know in the comments, what do you want to see for this last little session? Do you want to see a race? Or you know, if you just joined the stream, do you want to see AI? Do you want to see some more rain stuff, trying some wet lines? Is there a particular car you want to see, the electric car, for example? Just let me know if there's anything specifically for this last session, and if not, I'll just pick something else. What's your final conclusions, Ross, on the very first little go here? Oh, Ross isn't here, or he's muted. How's drifting? The only car we could possibly drift in really at this stage would be the Honda. And I was understeering and oversteering, and I was able to slide it a little bit, but it's I would say drifting definitely can't judge yet. Definitely can't judge yet, but we can give it a go at some point. Yeah, Ross is stunned. You're right. I just can't, because I've turned off all my notifications. I have no idea if he's left, if he's here, if he's muted, if he's fallen asleep. That does happen. Right, we've got a shout for Mount Panorama, so we'll do that. We'll not do a race because the AI are just not good enough. I'm sorry, but that's just, they're not consistent. They slow down in the wrong places. it's just not I'm not enjoying the racing against them because they're so all over the place, which is a real shame. So we'll do a practice session. How do I unlock the other cars? So just a reminder, if you've joined the stream quite recently, and we haven't been talking about this since you've been joining, there are meant to be 20 cars available in this early access phase. And there will be, you start off with I think 5 or 6 cars. We can do nighttime. You start off with 5 or 6 cars, and then you're meant to be able to play through the licenses, and that unlocks the economy, so you have some money. And then when you earn some money by, I'm assuming, doing races, which we can't do yet, you will be able to use that money to buy cars in the dealership, and there are 20 cars that are available to buy in this early access phase. So there are still 15 cars we haven't driven yet, and we can't drive yet. The reason I can't drive them is because if you see here in the main menu, apparently, according to some information we had earlier, you should be able to click here the licenses section, which we knew was going to be part of this update. And when you did the first license, completing that would actually unlock all of those things I just mentioned. So completing the first license would unlock the ability to buy cars, it would unlock the currency, and all of these things. And when I say you should be able to do that, I mean, I don't just mean you should be able to do that soon. I mean, right now, if this update and this launch had worked properly, you should be able to do that right now. So, you can see the bottom right of the screen, it's saying offline for me. Just going to move my camera back there. It's saying offline on the bottom right of the screen. That should be saying online, and it should be allowing me to access licenses and therefore unlock the rest of the game. Because we don't have that, it's I can't do it right now. So right now we're limited to 5 cars, single races, and hot lap sessions or practice sessions with slightly questionable AI, and that's kind of it. So we had a request for Mountain Panorama, and we had a request for nighttime. So let's do that. Let's end it with the very quick electric alpha, because I've not driven it in the dry, and I want to see how it feels. It'd be tricky in the dark, obviously. So we'll go the Alfa Romeo Junior, which is quicker than it looks. Single player. We'll go Mountain Panorama. And we're going to do we'll do like a little practice session at night time was requested. So let's try like 2 in the morning or 2:40 in the morning. Why not? Maybe we can set a little timer on so that it goes a bit faster and we get into sunrise kind of thing. If we start at 4 a.m. we should, or we'll start at 3:15. I can't do the maths quick enough to work out how light it'll get, but we'll give it a go. And we'll make it dry as well. But thank you so much for sticking around and watching the stream. Hopefully you found it enjoyable or informative, and it's given you an idea of what we're dealing with here. As I say, if you've been listening to the stream so far, you'll know that I have mixed opinions on things. I'm disappointed with the fact that on day 1 we're having all these issues that we can't try the stuff we're meant to be trying. I'm having issues with the AI. I think the graphics are somewhere in the middle. I think they're a good solid starting point, but they're a little bit soft. I think that could be improved, and I like to see that improved. And I also think the physics and the handling is a good starting point. I'm happy with that. I think it's realistic. I think it's slightly on the soft safe side, and it can be worked on, but I honestly think that's a strong point. If you enjoyed Assetto Corsa, you're definitely going to enjoy the driving on this, and I'm having fun with that. So, yeah. Glad to see you guys have been enjoying the stream. Much appreciated. And I'll take this opportunity as well as I do this last session. Just thank you once again. You may have noticed we've just reached 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a massive milestone. It's completely irrelevant in the fact that it's just a number, but it means a heck of a lot to us who've been on this traction journey from day 1, trying to build this channel from nothing into something that people can, find their sim racing fix from, find information, hopefully find it enjoyable along the way as well. And your support, watching the videos, subscribing to the channel, means that we've been able to keep on bringing you content, and it means in the future we'll be able to bring you better and more content. And honestly, I appreciate every single one of you. We've not been doing many live streams. We've done none since 'Traxion was relaunched early last year. So this is the first one, and the plan is that we're going to be doing a lot more of these. So I've now got a kind of live stream setup in my office here, my studio, which is in my house. So the plan is for me to do a lot more of these streams, maybe even once a week. We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to put any exact timings on it just yet, but I want to do more streams. And we're just going to do more sim racing, because on this Traxion channel we do spend a lot of time reviewing things, creating guides, you know, trying to bring you informative content, you know, lists of which games you should pick, and, you know, reviewing where things are at and all of these sorts of things. But a lot of the time, what I obviously love doing is I love racing. I love cars, I love motorsport, and I love racing. And sometimes I feel like, you know, I just want to do a bit more racing. And obviously being able to do some live streaming and having this setup here will facilitate me to be able to do that and immerse myself in more online races, have a bit of fun, obviously chat to you guys, and we'll try and get something going on a regular basis, and it's going to be great, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. So do make sure you subscribe if you want to see those videos and streams as they're happening. It's because we've just hit the 100k point as well. It feels like a really good natural point to transition into that and bring you the stuff. So yeah, it's all of your support is very much appreciated. Thank you. So we're driving the electric Alfa Romeo Junior. You can see it's pretty quick. We've got 6 minutes left. This is nighttime at Mount Panorama. I don't know if the sun will rise before the end of this session, but we'll find out. Brakes are actually pretty good. No ABS kicking in there, but I've got traction control. You can see in the bottom right of the screen where the HUD is, you can see that little yellow flashing light, and that's your traction control. How are you getting nighttime? Because you can set the time of day, so that is available immediately. And I've set this to like 3:30 AM, but I've also set it to the time acceleration to 48, so maybe we'll see the sun coming up by the end of this session. But this is Mount Panorama, so you're getting a good look at that. Trying to get used to the brakes on this big heavy electric car, but I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with the handling of this car. Like, I was surprised at how quick it was when I drove it in the wet earlier, but driving it in the dry at Mount Panorama, I'm actually surprised at how much grip I've got. I'm surprised at the braking performance. I thought with the electric motors it'll be heavy. It's a front wheel drive. There's the pink sky coming in. So we are going to get sunrise, which is nice. But yeah, you can see I've got a good feel for the force feedback and the handling. I can feel the suspension moving. It's quite a bouncy, rolly car, which I'm not surprised by. But I am able to kind of, I guess, get it somewhere close to the limits on certain corners. You can hear the tyre squealing. I can get it close to the walls, and it's very intuitive. I'm getting good force feedback, so sorry to everyone who's not managed to get their force feedback working well yet. I've been using the recommended SimUcube settings, and I have to say I'm straight out of the box. I'm happy. I don't feel like I need to go and change everything yet. Trying to read comments when you're going over the top of the mountain is not a good idea, sorry. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't think the graphics are perfect by any stretch, but... yeah, look at this. This is a proper car, like... absolutely not the car I would have thought would be the most enjoyable to drive when I saw the list of early access cars, but it's really nice. It's really, really nice. We're going to pause, and I'm going to turn the graphics back up to full just for this last session, because we've got no rain, we've got no AI, so we can really turn it back up to ultra. And hopefully we still get 60 FPS. As I say, guys, keep an eye on the channel as well for, we've got like a pure gameplay video coming up at some point. Obviously I've just been focused on the stream since we started, but we will do as much as we can to bring you content as quick as we can, and obviously we'll make sure it's the right kind of content. And we're also going to gather our thoughts for some first impressions as well. Hopefully once the game servers start working and we can get into the driving licenses or the missions and begin to actually earn some money, buy some cars, I might do another stream, or we'll do something in video form as well to show how that works, because that's a big part of the excitement for me. Went in a bit deep there, but we still got the car turned. What gloves are you using? These are just traction gloves. So these are bespoke traction gloves that you can get your hands on if you come to any events that we're at, or if you enter any of our giveaways when we do them. I can't remember the last time we did one, so apologies, but they're not for sale at the moment, but we are looking into all that kind of stuff in future, so. AI, Phil, I recommend going back and watching. I'll give you a quick overview, but I recommend going back and watching some of the races in the stream. I'm not super impressed by the AI. They're pretty aggressive, which is fine. They've spun me out a few times, which I'm okay with. It were just, you know, and I wouldn't say it was polite, and it wasn't because I blocked them. It was sometimes just because they kind of forced their way up the inside when I was there. But the speed of them is just not there yet, and oh no, the speed of them is not there, and they're erratic in terms of they'll brake on the exit of a corner. They don't race well in a pack. They're slow in random places. They're inconsistent. So AI is a negative for me for sure at this early stage. Obviously, if you're completely new to sim racing, you're inexperienced, then you might be able to have a better time with it. But for someone who's done a lot of sim racing and, you know, wants AI to race in a kind of more natural way, like a multiplayer race, they're not there. For the steering wheel thing, have you made sure that you've clicked on your steering wheel when you go to set your controls? Have you made sure that you're not on the kind of mouse and keyboard section of the controls page? Have you just make sure you click on your wheelbase if it's there, obviously, just in case that's an issue. But obviously you may well have tried all of that already. But it's just something to have a look at. You're very welcome, Phil. Very, very welcome. But yeah, if you want more detail, as I say, have a wee watch back of the stream later. I've had one big glitch so far. One big glitch which I've had to restart the game because of. Or no, I just had to change it from full screen mode, off of full screen mode. Samuel asking about Ferraris and Porsches. Yes, Ferraris and Porsches are present in this build, but unfortunately there's been an issue today with the servers, and we were all meant to have access to the Ferrari, the Porsche, and 20 other cars. But unfortunately, because the servers are down, we're not able to complete the licenses, and you have to complete the first license in order to unlock the dealerships and unlock the money and the economy, so to be able to buy those cars. So essentially, yes, we should be able to play them, but there's a glitch or something wrong with the servers right now which is stopping us, and that's why everyone's kind of restricted to the kind of starter cars that you own in your garage. Okay, last lap, guys. Let's make it a good one. I'm really enjoying this combo. Again, like the last two combos, the Honda and the wet at Brands I really enjoyed. This is actually really fun as well. And you can see I've got a delta, so on the top left, now that I've actually set a decent enough lap time, you can see there's a performance delta on screen, which is great. So that's in there from the off, which means I can actually do some lap time comparisons. We can look at wet lines and all that and the performance differences. You can really feel the car underneath you under braking, feel it stepping out in time, use the force feedback to pull it back in shape. Very intuitive, realistic, enjoyable. If this was my only experience, if I literally just jumped on this game, tried this car and this track as a kind of single player practice mode, and I was judging it on that, it would be a positive judgment. It would be a positive conclusion. It's just all the other issues we've had to contend with that are kind of masking what is clearly underneath it all a pretty good starting point for an early access sim, with a lot of expectation because it's Assetto Corsa, of course. Ah, sorry to hear that, Andy. Sorry to hear that. For me on this, it seems to be locking around about 56, 57. GPU is being hammered. All my PC specs are in the description below. But obviously bear in mind I am streaming. I've got a few other bits and pieces on, so it will be tanking it a little bit, and I'm running on ultra graphics. Traction control. Kicking in a lot there on the exit. Right, last corner, last braking zone. Have I gone too late? No, we're good. Yes, I've gone too late. Ruined the lap at the end there, but it's a 2 minutes something. Is it going to be? Yes, 30. 2 minutes 30. 0.2. that was really good fun. Nice way to end on a bit more of a positive note. UI is looking fairly early access, but I think, as I was saying to Ross, I've not really formed a full opinion yet. I think it's fairly clean. So I got my best lap show up there. Replay. Will the day to night to day transition work in replay? Seems to be. So it's dark at the start, and it's light at the end. There's your funky music. Sorry, I've realised I moved the camera back over to the right while we were on the menu, and I've probably been blocking the FPS counter. So sorry about that. There we go. Let me bring my comments back up because I've gotten rid of them by accident. That's going to end the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Day 1. FOV settings. I'm seeing a question about FOV settings. If you click escape on the menu, you don't go into the settings menu, go into view settings, which is one of the options on the normal menu when you're in game, and then you'll find FOV settings and other settings in there to move your seat around and move your camera around, so don't worry about that too much. But yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. I've certainly enjoyed it. Looking forward to finding out more, seeing how the game develops. As I say, I'm really looking forward to getting the servers online and being able to actually play what we're meant to be able to play at this early stage. And yeah, just enjoy some more racing. I guess maybe more hot lapping until they improve the AI a little bit. But at least, you know, it's a good starting point. But there's lots of progress needs made, and I think there's going to be a lot of mixed discourse about this game, which is kind of inevitable, but that's kind of how I feel as well. I feel like there's some things that are quite strongly disappointing, and other things that are good and a good start and a good building block. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a good evening. Enjoy playing Assetto Corsa Evo when you get home, or when you decide whether to purchase or not. And I'll see you very soon. Thank you, guys.